Hey, what's up guys, it's your boy KCM What Ifs. Today we are gonna be reading Naruto, the Black Fox, or what if Naruto was killed and joined the Fox village. So sit back, relax and enjoy. I am a vixen now, get the fuck out of my house, yelled Sakura as she punched Sasuke so hard in the jaw that his jawbone broke as he went flying into the sky. Ever the ninja, he did a flip in midair, landing on a rooftop over a quarter of a mile away from the Namake's main house. That fucking bitch, said Sasuke as he held his jaw, the long cut from Sakura's flying arm blade that ran from his cheek to his ear. He could feel the demon healing chakra at work, healing the broken bone and the cut. He lifted his hand and applied healing chakra to the wound. He wasn't a trained medical ninja, but he knew how to heal small cuts. I thought I told you I am a vixen, yelled Sakura as Sasuke looked up just in time to see Sakura's first hit to his face. Sasuke stumbled backwards from yet another blow. What the hell is wrong with me? My reaction time is slowed, thought Sasuke as he glared at a grinning Sakura. You are probably wondering why your reaction time has slowed, asked Sakura as Sasuke glared at her. You poisoned it, didn't you? Your blade had poison on it, stated Sasuke as Sakura grinned like a fox. You know, as the demon snake summoner, I am immune to all but the strongest poisons. I know, you have your own venom when you're a snake, but see, you are immune to the major effects of poison, but it will slow you down, said Sakura as yet another blade came out of her arm brace, and you moving slower is all I need to end you once and for all. Another battle that was raging, however, instead of a fight between former teammates, it was a fight between sensei and student. Lee, you were my best student. Why did you betray the village? Asked Guy as he tried to kick Lee in the face only to have Lee block the attack with his arm. With his other arm he went in to punch his former sensei's face. Unlike Lee, Guy had no time to dodge. The punch contacted Guy's face, sending him backwards, blood dripping from his nose. The demon summoners have made the village lose its soul. The village has become like the Sound Village, giving preface to those who gain power without work. Said Lee, the village doesn't care about those who work for their power, and that is the true test of youth and of the will of fire. I will correct that by removing the demon summoners. The demon summoners, or Naruto and Sakura? Asked Guy. I hold no problem with Naruto, he had no choice in becoming a demon summoner, but Shikamaru, Hinata and Sakura-chan must pay for their choices, said Lee as Guy grinned a bit. What? You are just upset that Sakura picked Naruto over you, said Guy as Lee glared at his former team leader. Though in your life you have been dealt bad cards, your limited chakra meant you could never do some of the things that a normal ninja does. You could never beat Neji no matter how hard you tried, and then Sakura, the woman you always loved, fell in love with another man. I don't care about Sakura anymore, stated Lee. Then why did you call her Sakura-chan? Asked Guy. Face it, Lee, the whole demon summoner line is just a smoke screen to cover that fact. Shut up, yelled Lee as chakra came out of the ring on his finger. This has nothing to do with that. Though my will of fire, I have gained control of the chakra sealed within this ring. That is what this village should have acknowledged, not them. I will purge this village of those who want power without work, even if that means I have to kill you to do that. Lee, I am sorry it has come to this, stated Guy as he got into a stance that Lee knew all too well. Lee watched as chakra danced around Guy. Gate 1, the gate of opening. Within sight of Lee and Guy, the lord of all demon wolves Hatch High stood facing down Jiraiya Payne's wolf summon. Shikamaru, what is the situation here? Asked Hatch High to the demon summoner on his forehead. Pain and the Akatsuki are attacking us. So far this is the only pain we have encountered, while other lower members of the Akatsuki are attacking us, said Shikamaru. It's worse than you think, said Hatch High. We got reports that the demon snakes, scorpions and sharks are on their way here. What? Asked Shikamaru. Somehow they found out that you are under attack and will be here within half an hour, said Hatch High. We are giving chase, but they are ahead of us and will be here first. Like it or not, a major demon battle will happen in your village. Naruto and I can summon the wolves and foxes here, and Hinata with the lions can surround them, said Shikamaru. We could end this war once and for all. Yes, but first let's get rid of this so-called wolf, said Hatch-High as he looked at the summoned wolf. Jiraiya didn't even say anything as the wolf charged forward. Hatch-High rolled his eyes as he simply racked his claws across the wolf's face, killing it instantly as it fell to the ground, crushing buildings below it. Jiraiya jumped into the air with a smirk on his face. "You forgot about my dog," said Jiraiya as the multiple-headed dog jumped up to try and bite Hatch-High. However, before he got close, as Katsuyu moved between them, letting the dog bite into her, instead of dying she simply broke apart into multiple mini versions of herself, saving her from death. The dog's eyes widened as Hatch-High showed no mercy as he bit down on the dog, getting all its neck in one bite. With one quick movement he ripped out the trout, killing the summoner, spraying blood all over the place. "No matter, I have so many summons you can't stop them all," stated Jiraiya as he went to run those hand signs. However, out of nowhere Tsunade came in, her fist covered with chakra. Instead of aiming for his face, her target was something else. Her chakra-powered strength slammed into Jiraiya's hands in the middle of doing hand signs. Jiraiya's fingers broke, stopping him from making the hand signs needed to call out another summons. "This is an expected turn of events," said Jiraiya as he looked at his badly broken fingers. "Jiraiya, I am sorry, but that had to be done," said Tsunade. "Jiraiya is dead, only pain remains," stated Jiraiya. "Where are the other pains?" asked Shikamaru as he landed across from Jiraiya. "Pain is everywhere," answered Jiraiya. Meanwhile, at the Leaf Village Hospital, Ino was glaring at her husband. "Choji, I can do this," stated Ino. "Ino, you are 6 months pregnant," said Choji as he placed his hand on his wife's growing belly where their unborn daughter was growing. "You need to be in the bunkers." "Choji, I am only 5.5 months pregnant and I am head of the hospital while Tsunade and Shizune are out," said Ino. "Tsunade is out on the battlefield and Shizune is in the sand helping them build a stronger medical corps. I promise I will not do any healing, I will direct people. Leave it to one of the nurses, please Ino, I can go out and fight easier knowing that you are safe underground," said Choji. "Too bad you are not going out there," said a new voice as Temari arrived at the hospital. "What, I am the Toad Summoner, I have to go there and defend the village," said Choji. "Right now I need you to protect the wounded coming in from the battlefield," said Temari. "I can fight," said Choji. "Not this time, Choji," stated Temari. "What is going on?" asked Ino. "Why can't my husband fight?" "It's not that he can't fight, it is just that Shikamaru doesn't feel like he can go all out right now," added Temari. "Why the hell not?" asked Choji. "Choji, there is no easy way to tell you this, but one of the pains is Jiraiya," said Temari as Choji's eyes widened. "Pain is controlling the body of your sensei and Shikamaru, and I don't think you can go full go against him. I am not even sure Tsunade can, but we can't order her back. So the best spot for you right now is here defending your wife and the wounded of the village." Just outside the village, Naruto was searching every high spot he could find, but he kept looking back at the battle that was raging in the Leaf. He could see that Hatch-High had been summoned to the battle by Shikamaru. Suddenly he felt his wife surge with rage. He knew he was too far away to talk to her, though the metal link they share for being mates, but he could feel her rage building within her. "Sakura-chan is in trouble, my family is in trouble," thought Naruto as he stood still for a moment, wondering if he should go back, trusting his wife to handle any problem or carry out his mission. Back in the Leaf, Sakura was running through hand signs as she and Sasuke fought across the rooftops of the hidden Leaf. "Water-style ice needles," stated Sakura as thousands of needles of ice formed around her before flying off to meet Sasuke. "Kordi Sandan," yelled Sasuke as thousands of lightning needles flew out, hitting Sakura's attack, destroying them. "I have to admit you have gotten better, Sakura," said Sasuke as he jumped off a building, landing on an old dock by a small lake. "However, the home field advantage is now mine." "This is the Leaf, how could you possibly have the home field advantage?" asked Sakura. "Take a look around," stated Sasuke as Sakura looked around. On the walls were faded images of the Uchiha crest. "This is my home compound and I know things about it you couldn't possibly know." "Like what?" asked Sakura. Like this, said Sasuke as he threw a kunai at one of the crests. To Sakura's amazement, the crest sunk into the wall before spinning around. It wasn't alone, all the symbols on the wall around her started to move. My family was killed by my brother for planning a rebellion against the Leaf, and to do a proper uprising means being well armed and of course well defended. Suddenly out of those holes came flying dozens of crossbow bolts, making the courtyard a field of death. To avoid the attack, Sasuke flipped backwards into the water of the lake. Sakura wasn't so lucky, she had nowhere to go. She tried to dodge the attack, but there were just so many of them she could dodge them all. She winced in pain as a crossbow bolt landed in her upper leg and another one landed in her upper arm. The bolts missed vital spots, but they were still painful as hell. Finally the crossbow stopped as Sasuke jumped out of the water just in time to see Sakura pull the first bolt out of arm. However, when she went to pull the one in her leg, she found it had cut tendons in her knee, meaning she couldn't flex her lower leg's muscles. She tried to stand only to fall back down. She knew that demon healing chakra would heal the wound, but not before Sasuke would get to her. Look at a wounded fox, said Sasuke with a laugh as he pulled his sword. I can't wait to show your head to Naruto. Water-style water pillar, whispered Sakura under her breath so that Sasuke couldn't hear her. He didn't even see it coming as the water from the pound formed a giant pillar before bending up over Sasuke before slamming him into the ground. Sakura quickly started to apply chakra to add the demon chakra in healing the wound. However, Sasuke found his way out of the attack before she had healed the wound. The water stuck to his body, making his hair drop. A mixture of blood and water still trailed from the wound he had gotten from Sakura at her front door. You should have just laid down and died. I would have been a bit more kind when I am killing you, said Sasuke as he raised his blade. Now I will make you pay slowly. No, I will not die. I will not leave Naruto-kun or my kids, thought Sakura as she pulled a kunai to stop the attack from hitting the main part of her body. However, suddenly she felt a warmth in her chest, coming from the necklace that the Kyuubi had given her. With that, his sword came crashing down only to suddenly stop in the middle of the attack. She looked up to see Naruto standing between her and Sasuke. He had grabbed Sasuke's sword with his unprotected hands. His blood tripped down Sasuke's blade before falling to the ground. Are you alright, Sakura-chan? Asked Naruto as he glared at Sasuke, the man who almost killed his wife. Just give me a minute, Naruto-kun, said Sakura as she kept applying chakra to her wound. Slowly she stood back up as Sasuke jumped back, his sword stained with Naruto's blood. Are the kids safe? Asked Naruto. They are with my mother in the demon world, safe from Sasuke and anything that happens here, explained Sakura as Naruto nodded his head. So let's end this snake once and for all, said Naruto as he glared at Sasuke with his silted fox eyes. Sakura joined him in the action. Sasuke glared back with his silted snake eyes. Well, this just got interesting, said Sasuke. Across the village, Jiraiya stood before Tsunade and Shikamaru. His fingers were broken so he couldn't summon anymore. Where is the other pains? Asked Shikamaru. Jiraiya, if there is any of the real you left in there, please tell us, said Tsunade. Jiraiya simply grinned as he reached up and pulled his cloak off. That is when they saw it. In his chest from the nipple line down to his belly button was made out of those black chakra rods with a seal on front of it. I will show you, stated Jiraiya as he ripped off the seal as chakra began to dance around him wildly. Shikamaru's eyes widened as he realized what was going on before Tsunade did. Pain. With that, all the chakra released in a giant explosion of chakra, covering the area in a giant fireball. In less than a second, a quarter of the village was within the fireball. The fireball rose up into the sky, making the night sky glow. The animal path of pain has fallen, stated the Deva path of pain as he and Madara stood on a nearby hilltop overlooking the village hidden in the leaves. Your new path didn't last as long as you believed, stated Madara. It was enough that the demons are in play, stated Pain as he looked to his right just in time to see a large snake pass by him. Right behind him was the Lord of Demon Sharks, and behind them were the remains of the Scorpion army. Still, they are not as wounded as I wanted, stated Madara. You do not need all of them to die. You just need them to weaken so the seal strength will be lowered and you can carry out your plan. Stated Pain. I do hope all the other paths are in place, stated Madara. We have only one chance at this. They are in place, stated Pain. And your real self, asked Madara. If you die now I can't carry out the plan. I am safe, said Nagato the real Pain as he stood on a large bird made of paper by Conan high above the leaf. They will never find me, and if they do they can't get to me. Pain was the last word the Jiraiya ever said as Pain used him in a suicide attack on the village hidden in the leaf. All over the village the first clue of the coming storm was a flash of light that came from the building of chakra inside Jiraiya. The next thing people knew they were flying backwards from the shock wave. Buildings fell over in the explosion. Miles away from the blast zone the windows of the main Leaf Hospital broke apart sending pieces of razor sharp flying into the lobby where Ino was directing the wounded into the hospital. Her eyes widened as she saw the glass coming at her. Her husband Choji's eyes widened as he saw what was flying at his wife and unborn daughter. He knew he couldn't get there in time but he tried anyway. He jumped in front of the coming storm of glass turning his back. He winced in pain as he felt the pieces of glass enter his back. He landed on top of Ino covering her body with his from the glass. Finally the building stopped shaking and everything settled down. Ino, are you alright? Asked Choji as he looked into his wife's eyes. Choji, the baby, said Ino as Choji stood up and looked down at his wife. His eyes widened as he saw a large piece of glass sticking out of her belly. We need a doctor here now, yelled Choji as a nurse ran up. They were luckily she was a member of the Hyuga clan. She quickly activated her Byakugan and looked down at the injured doctor. Don't worry Dr. Akimichi, the baby is fine, the glass passed by the side of the womb, reported the nurse. We will get you up into surgery now. Get my husband first, he is worse off, said Ino as she looked at the blood that was pouring off Choji's back and onto the floor. Don't worry about me. Take care of her and our daughter first, said Choji. Ino, let the new dad worry about his wife and kid first, said the nurse. Don't worry, he will be right behind you. A huge mushroom-shaped cloud rose over the leaf. At the very base of that cloud lying on the ground in a protective ball was Hatch High. Shikamaru, are you alright? Asked Hatch High as he unrolled to show Shikamaru and Tsunade. Tsunade's eyes widened as she looked out over the village. She was in the middle of a large crater. All the buildings around her were flattened into rubble. Behind her in the distance she could see the very damaged Hokage building still standing, the main hospital right behind it. To her right and left were the remains of the outer wall and in front of her were the remains of the road leading out of the village. I am alright, answered Shikamaru as he looked at his bleeding arm. My God, said Tsunade, what did they do to my village? They attacked it, answered Hachi. As he stood up, Tsunade could see that his fur was burnt and he didn't want to put much weight on his right front leg. This is horrible, said Tsunade. It's about to get much worse, said a new voice as a tall man with white hair with purple eyes landed in front of them. His shirt was the same color as his eyes. He also had on white pants. On his back were two giant swords. Suigetsu Hozuki, stated Shikamaru as the summoner of demon sharks grinned. Yeah, that's me, said Suigetsu as he pulled one of his two swords, and I am the one who will end your life. I don't think so, said Shikamaru as he ran, though hand signs building up massive amounts of chakra around him. Summon Justu. With that a massive cloud of smoke filled the air as the entire demon wolf army appeared in a line beside their lord. Well, looks like I will have the advantage in this fight, said Suigetsu with a smile. You are injured from that explosion and summoning an army takes a lot of chakra. That is when Shikamaru noticed a huge number of demon sharks filling the blast crater. While I had to do none of those things, said Suigetsu as his sword-wielding arm turned white as it grew in size, and I am betting you don't have the strength to go into sage form. Tsunade, get out of here and get everyone you can out of the village. This is going to get ugly, said Shikamaru as he pulled two of his 7 knives from their holders on his armored vest. It already is, added Tsunade as she headed away from the battle. Across the village in a half-destroyed city street, Lee and Guy did battle, however they were not alone. Niji and Tenten fought against the crystal user Guren. "Take this," yelled Tenten as she threw several kunai at the crystal's user. Guren simply let the kunai bounce off the crystal blade on her arm. "This blade is unbreakable by all but the strongest attacks, and it doesn't look like you have the power to do that," said Guren. "You don't need pure strength if you have skills," said Niji as he suddenly appeared behind Guren. "Take this." Guren tried to turn around, but Niji was too fast for her. Using his Byakugan to guide him, he hit several chakra points in her arm, shutting down all chakra flow to her arm. Guren jumped back as she tried to move her arm, only to find that it refused to move even an inch. "One arm down, 3 more limbs to go," said Tenten as she threw yet another kunai at her enemy. Nearby Guy and Lee kept up their fight. They didn't even stop as buildings fell during the blast. They jumped from destroyed rooftop to destroyed rooftop, punching and kicking at each other. "The 6 gates. The gate of view, release," yelled Guy as he released yet another chakra gate on his old student. "I am sorry it came to this, but I have to use this, Morning Peacock." Lee's eyes widened as Guy tried to kick Lee into the air, but Lee dodged the first attack as thousands of punches came flying at him. Guy watched in amazement, frustration and pride as Lee dodged most of the attacks. Suddenly more demon chakra followed out of the ring on Lee's finger as he actually caught Guy's flying fist. "Please step aside, Guy-sensei. I would rather not hurt you. Once I purge the village you will see the truth," said Lee as Guy glared at his former student. "The 7th gate, the gate of wonder, open," said Guy as Lee's eyes widened as even more chakra danced around Guy. Meanwhile, at the remains of the Uchiha compound, Sasuke stood across from Naruto and Sakura. Each one of their eyes were silted in their demon form. "Looks like your village is going to end tonight," said Sasuke as smoke still rose from the remains of the Leaf Village. "The leaf will never die, unlike you," snapped Sakura. "Sakura-chan, I need you to go find Shikamaru," said Naruto's voice inside her head. "Fuck that, let's end him now and for all." "We can do it together," responded Sakura back as she thanked the mate seal they shared that they could communicate with each other. "Yes, but the village needs the Kyuubi and the other demon foxes here now," said Naruto. "I can handle Sasuke. You summon the foxes and then come back. I will fight him, and maybe by the time you return I will end him." "Alright, I will be right back to Naruto-kun," added Sakura as she headed out away from one battlefield and headed toward another battlefield. "So your bitch is leaving us?" asked Sasuke as Naruto glared at his former friend. "I guess you don't want her to see your end." "No, I don't want her to see me run my sword through your heart," stated Naruto as he pulled his own sword. Meanwhile, near the Hokage mountain, Kale Inuzinkia made sure that yet another building was clear of villagers, as he moved through from the main house to a small work shed in the backyard to check to see if people had decided to hide out there. So the past 9 buildings he had checked had been clear of villagers, but he still had to carry out his mission. He wished that his dog Mai was with him, but the first building he had come across had an old woman with a broken hip, so Mai was helping carry her to the bunker. "Hello, is anyone there?" yelled Kale into the door. "This is Kale Inuzinkia." Suddenly out of a nearby tree came 3 razors sharp. Kale jumped back as the kunai landed at his feet. "What the fuck?" said Kale as he looked up to see Tsum standing there with another kunai in hand. "What the fuck is wrong with you?" "The fact that you were born. I plan to fix that problem," said Tsum as she threw her kunai at the son of her former husband with another woman. "By ending your life." "You are drunk, aren't you?" asked Kale. "No, for once I am not," said Tsum. "I will kill you and hide your body in the rubble of a building. Everyone will think you died in the building." "You are crazy," said Kale as Tsum jumped down from the tree. "Prepare to die," said Tsum. Miles away from the leaf, running as fast as they could, was Hinata and Kiba. They, along with the other demon lions and foxes, were heading toward the leaf as fast as possible. "I can't believe they attacked the leaf," said Kiba as they kept running. "Don't worry, we are maybe 10 minutes away from the leaf at most," said Hinata. "But the wolves have already been summoned, which means they have arrived at the village," said Kiba as suddenly all the foxes disappeared in puffs of smoke. Looks like Naruto or Sakura have called the foxes in. We have to hurry, said Hinata as she picked up the speed again. Back in the leaf, Sakura stood on top of Kyubi's forehead as lines of demon foxes appeared on the battlefield right behind where the wolves were doing battle with the sharks. What happened here? Asked Kyubi as he looked up at the pink-haired vixen standing on his forehead. Sakura had to go into sage mode to call out the foxes, but now she was changing back to normal. Akatsuki attack, and then there was a huge explosion. Other than that I am not sure, said Sakura. Let's get into the fight, yelled Saito. Wait, said Kyubi as he looked down at his son. Our allies are under attack, we need to get in there, said Saito. Where are the snakes? Said Kyubi as Saito looked around. They were right behind the sharks. If they are in here then they are near. Sir, I see them, said a fox at the edge of the line. They are moving around the wall of the village, going around the wolves. If we don't stop them they will go straight for the village bunkers and kill everyone in them, said Kyubi as he headed toward the snake's main attack force. Sakura was about ready to jump off when Kyubi stopped her. Sakura, I need you to lead a small group of foxes into battle against the sharks, said Kyubi. But Naruto is fighting Sasuke, said Sakura. Let the two of them battle by themselves. Sasuke would just target you and Naruto would force himself to protect you even when it isn't needed, explained Kyubi. Let him fight him. Sakura showed her teeth in frustration. Fine, said Sakura as she jumped off the Kyubi's head, landing on the ground before rushing toward the battle with the demon sharks. The Kyubi moved forward toward Sheamus, the lord of all demon snakes. In the world of demons the foxes and the snakes were pure-blood enemies, just like the wolves and the sharks and the lions and the scorpion. He wanted to kill the snakes and more importantly he needed to kill him. On the road to the leaf the lions were alone as they moved toward the leaf, Hinata in the lead, her Byakugan activated. We are less than a mile away, said Hinata. Good, we will be there soon, said Kiba as suddenly Hinata's eyes widened as a line of explosions ripped off in front of them. All the demons stopped as a line of fire raised up in front of them. What the hell? It's a trap, explained Hinata as the sound of snapping pincers filled the air. We are surrounded by the scorpions. How could they hide from your Byakugan? Asked Kiba. It's hard but it isn't impossible, said Hinata as she drew her bow and arrow. However, it doesn't matter right now, we need to get through them before we can get to the leaf. Then let's go through them, said Kiba as he pulled out his tomahawk. You will not get through us, said Yugo as he appeared. You're alive? Asked Hinata. You failed to kill me, you only knocked me out, explained Yugo as his arms began to change into orange pincers. I will not make the same mistake you did. Meanwhile, back in the leaf, Naruto and Sasuke moved around each other like two animals waiting for an opening to deliver a killing blow. Each one of them had their swords out and ready. I can't wait to kill you, said Sasuke as Naruto grinned. Is that all you have to say? Asked Naruto as Sasuke suddenly jumped away as out of the ground came a second Naruto. Sasuke glared at the shadow clone of his enemy before running his sword through it. However, instead of exploding in a puff of smoke, an explosion with the same power as a paper bomb went off. I see you learned a new jutsu, Naruto, said Sasuke. Not really, just a new addition to an old favorite, said Naruto. You are not the only one who made some new changes, said Sasuke as lightning danced around him. Chidori Sendan. Naruto jumped back as thousands of electric needles came flying toward him. Naruto jumped back as the needle slammed in the wall behind. That isn't anything new, said Naruto as suddenly the needles exploded, destroying the entire wall. You were saying, said Sasuke as a forked tongue poked out of his mouth. I am going to have fun watching you bleed to death. Just outside the village, Madara, Uchiha and Pain stood watching. Everything was going as they planned. The demons are doing battle, reported Pain as the sounds of battle raged across the hidden leaf village. Good. Then it is only a matter of time till I can carry out my plan, said Madara as he looked up into the sky. The moon had stopped in the sky. Soon I will control the ultimate demon, Ru the Black Flame. Shikamaru stood looking at his new enemy, for most people they would run in fear at the mere sight of what was before him. Standing maybe 7.5 feet tall and well over 300 pounds was the transformed Suigetsu Hozuki. Suigetsu had entered his shark sage form, and no matter how much Shikamaru had seen himself, Sakura, Naruto or Hinata in sage mode, it was still weird. Suigetsu muscles had grown at least 4 times their normal size. He had no neck to say, instead his head went straight down to his shoulders, lines marked the side of his neck as gills. His feet were now webbed as a massive tail moved behind him. The tail itself had a massive fin on it, another massive fin came out of his back. Most of his skin was white, only the back half of his body was dark blue. His eyes were small while his now much larger mouth was full of razor-sharp teeth. "So Wolf, are you ready to die?" asked Suigetsu, his voice much deeper than normal as he held both massive swords in each hand. For once the swords looked like they were the actual right size for him. "Okay, calling the wolves means I don't have the chakra to go into sage mode for longer than a minute," thought Shikamaru as he pulled 2 of his 7 demon wolf steel knives. "Looks like I will have to do this the hard way." "Your little knives are no match for my swords," stated Suigetsu as he charged forward with his 2 swords ready. Shikamaru's eyes widened as he noticed that right behind him was a massive line of water. The water rose into a massive pillar of water before slamming into the ground. Luckily Shikamaru had jumped out of the range of the attack as the water reformed around Suigetsu. "He can create water without using hand signs," thought Shikamaru as he noticed the water moved back around Suigetsu in a defensive line before launching towards Shikamaru again. Once again the water missed, but it did give Shikamaru new information about his enemy. "So he can move water around like Gaara moves sands. Come back here and fight me, you wolf," said Suigetsu as Shikamaru landed on a nearby roof. To his amazement Suigetsu looked around as if he couldn't see Shikamaru only yards away from him on top of some rubble. "What is wrong with him? Wait, I remember," thought Shikamaru. Flashback. "Shikamaru remembers that every demon has both strengths and weaknesses," said Tala as Shikamaru meditated on top of the huge sandstone plateau in the middle of the desert. The 3 of them had been camping for just over a week. However, it was a week from hell. How Tamari could live in the desert her whole life is beyond him. "I know, scorpions have armor which makes them hard to kill. Sharks are unbeatable in water and snakes are extremely fast in short burst," said Shikamaru as he felt his bare back roasting under the desert sun. He knew that he wouldn't get any sunburn thanks to demon healing, but it still hurt at the moment. "Lions are stronger than any one of them, foxes are highly mobile and flexible. Finally, wolves are the best in long-distance running and just well-rounded." "Correct, but what you don't know is the weakness of the enemy," said Tala as the sister of Hatch High moved around her student. "Each side has weakness." "What are they?" asked Shikamaru. "Some are clear as day. Wolves, foxes and lions are not armored like snakes and scorpions. However, we are faster in the long run," answered Tala. "However, some weaknesses are based on physical features of the animals. Snakes and scorpions don't replace venom very fast. Most of the time it takes a good hour or 2 to replace the venom they lose in one bite." "But you said they have an army. It wouldn't make sense their frontline soldiers would run out of venom and their bites would be meaningless," said Shikamaru as he thought about the question, "unless they carry enough venom for multiple bites." "Correct. Now as for sharks, their greatest strength is also their weakness," said Tala. "A shark's natural home is in the water. In that area they are unstoppable, however outside the water they have a lot of weakness. The biggest of them is their eyes." "Their eyes?" asked Shikamaru. "Think about it," said Tala. End flashback. "Their eyes are built for water. Outside of water their eyesight is poor," answered Shikamaru again years later as he looked at the shark summoner. "I got you now," yelled Suigetsu as he rose up on a giant pillar of water. "Crap, he finally saw me," thought Shikamaru as he jumped off the rumble, landing on top of another nearby mound of rubble. Suigetsu destroyed the mound of rubble he hit with his attack. "Alright, let's take the fight to him," whispered Shikamaru as he charged forward towards Suigetsu. When it came to land attacks, wolves had the advantage over sharks. Suigetsu looked around half blind as he tried to find Shikamaru. however his first clue of Shikamaru's location was when Shikamaru stuck his knife into his heart. "Wow, that hurts," said Suigetsu as he rolled his eyes as the area around his heart became water as the knife passed on right though doing no damage to him. Shikamaru's eyes widened as Suigetsu smiled. Shikamaru was right in front of him and his row of teeth. Suigetsu opened his mouth as he planned to bite down on Shikamaru's head. However, Shikamaru had other plans as he dove a second knife into Suigetsu's left shoulder before yanking it to the left. That movement caused Suigetsu's head to pass by him by inches, however that same movement also brought the sword in his right hand came crashing in with a clear shot on Shikamaru's rib cage. The decapitating carving knife, the same giant sword that was used by Zabuza before him, now came crashing down on Shikamaru's ribs. "I win," said Suigetsu as the giant sword hit Shikamaru's ribs. To his amazement, the sword struck bounced off Shikamaru's vest. Shikamaru quickly pulled another knife and stabbed Suigetsu's other shoulder. Suigetsu screamed in pain as Shikamaru sent lightning chakra down the knife blade and into Suigetsu's body. The additional electrical singles caused by Shikamaru's chakra caused Suigetsu's hand to close so tightly around the sword handle that it broke, causing the sword to fall to the ground. "Get off me!" yelled Suigetsu as he kicked Shikamaru in the chest, sending him flying backwards. While Shikamaru was in the air, he pulled another knife and threw it. The heavy demon wolf steel knife didn't fly very far, but they were so near to each other it didn't matter that much. Suigetsu jumped away, however the knife still hit his right hip. "How in the world?" asked Suigetsu. Parts of his body turned into water letting the knives pass though. "How did you survive that sword strike?" "Demon wolf steel," answered Shikamaru as he looked down at the side of his vest. "Inside my vest are thin ribbons of demon wolf steel. They may be thin, but they are still harder than anything else made by demons or humans. However, they are paper thin. That means that you snapped them with that attack, and if I am hit there again the armor will not protect me," added Shikamaru to himself as he looked at what he had left in the form of weapons. "4 out of 7 demon knives plus my normal pack." "So you are armored. I will just have to hit where you are not armored, like your head," stated Suigetsu. Meanwhile, a battle between a master and his former student was coming to its end. Lee and the mighty Guy stood on the remains of a leg bridge over a small stream. Guy was holding onto the railing, opening up 7 of the 8 chakra gates that had destroyed most of the muscles in his body. His clothes were ripped to pieces as the only thing that remained the same was his green pants. Meanwhile, apart from some rips in his green jumpsuit, Lee remained untouched. "Please Guy-sensei, give up," pleaded Lee. "I do not wish to hurt you anymore." "Lee, you are my best student and I am so proud of you. You have become strong," said Guy as Lee smiled. "However, your flame of youthfulness has been lost in corruption and your pain, and there is only one way to show you the light: my death." "What?" asked Lee as his eyes widened. "You heard me," said Guy with a smile. "Don't do this," said Lee. "I must," said Guy as even more chakra began to dance around him. "The 8th gate, the gate of death, open." "Guy-sensei," yelled a nearby voice as Lee looked to see Niji and Tenten doing battle with a hurt Guren. One of her arms and her leg were disabled and she seemed to be on her last leg of strength. Tenten was looking over toward the battle of her sensei and her old teammate. "It's alright Tenten, this needs to be done," said Guy as his entire body began to glow from all the chakra in his body being released at once. "But you will die," yelled Tenten from the rooftop. "I know," said Guy with a smile as more chakra danced around him. "The death of my youthful flame will relight the true flame of my lost student." Elsewhere, Sakura Namikaze punched a demon shark hard across the face. She was at the lead of an attack column of demon foxes. The battle had turned into nothing more than cause there was no front lines or rear, it was she just kept running and fighting. However, no matter how many sharks she killed, she just couldn't get over the fact that her husband was fighting their worst enemy. He was fighting not only to protect the village, but her and their kids. She wanted to be at his side during the fight, however she had work to do here. Finally she reached the center of the battle where Hatch High was doing battle with the lord of all demon sharks, Nico. The center area was flooding with water. Already there was at least 50 feet of water and it was growing. The wolves like Sakura and the few foxes with her were standing on top of the water while the sharks swam below, striking from below. Only Nico was still clearly visible standing across from a very pissed off Hatch High. "You shouldn't have come here, Vixen," said Hatch High as he moved his eyes to look at Sakura. "This is a fight between the wolves and the sharks, and your fox cousins and allies want to help you," said Sakura. "So the female demon summoner of the foxes," said Nico. "Sasuke told us about you. She will not be much help. You underestimate a vixen fighting to protect her home, her friends, her mate and most importantly her kits," stated Sakura as she chakra danced around. Suddenly she punched the surface of water. "Is that all you have?" asked Nico with a laugh as nothing happened. Then suddenly the water level started to drop very fast. Nico's eyes widened as a giant hole became visible. "You drained the water?" Little known fact about the leaf, there was an underground lake that was used up during the reign of the first Hokage, said Sakura. "All I had to do was punch through bedrock to reach it. Now your water will drain away along with your advantage. Never underestimate your enemies or else it will be your end." "Very well done, Sakura," said Hatch High as all the water was drained away. "How did you know about that?" "Just something I learned in school and something I never thought I would use," said Sakura. "Looks like I will have to take back all those times I rolled my eyes in class." "That can wait until we kill this shark," said Hatch High as he charged forward across the wet ground. With the water gone, Nico, like the other sharks, were slower. He couldn't get out of the way in time. Hatch High sank his fangs into Nico, just above the gill line. Nico trashed around as Hatch High slammed him into the ground, placing one of his paws on the shark's gills. Nico began thrashing around, hitting Hatch High with his powerful tail. Hatch High struggled to keep the shark down as he applied even more force into his bite. However, the shark wigged around, making his teeth run across his body. Finally, Nico's own teeth were within striking range as he stank his rows of teeth into Hatch High's right front paw. The Lord of Demon Wolves let go in pain as he backed up, holding his paw up from the ground. Sakura's eyes widened as she saw how bad the injury was. His lower paw was just hanging on by a few strands of flesh in the back. The shark had bitten through bone and flesh. Slowly Nico got up, his blood from the bites joining Hatch High's on the muddy ground. Meanwhile, Kale jumped back as Tsum tried to punch her enemy. The two Leaf Ninja fought each other. "Stop this," said Kale as Tsum tried to stab her son's half-brother in the chest, but Kale pushed the attack to the side. The blade did draw blood as it ran across the outside of Kale's arm. Kale winced in pain before punching Tsum in the face, sending her flying backwards. "Stop this now and I will forget this happened." "I will not stop until you are dead," yelled Tsum. "Why are you so upset? I may be the son of the man you hate, but he is dead. Why go after me?" asked Kale. "You turned my son and daughter against me," stated Tsum as Kale raised an eyebrow. "How the fuck did I do that?" asked Kale. "They didn't follow my orders when I told them not to let you into the clan," said Tsum. "They disobey the pack leader." "Kiba is the clan and pack leader, not you or me," said Kale. "I am his mother and the true power in the clan. Without me the clan would fall apart," stated Tsum. "Besides, you, Kaden should have been killed when he decided to leave the village. How you and my dad ever became a couple is beyond me," said Kale. "I wanted to show Minato Namikaze that he would lose me, so I decided to get engaged to Kaden," explained Tsum. "Minato was to see that I was right for him and come to me. However, to keep the show I had to sleep with Kaden, and sadly a broken condom led to me becoming pregnant with Hannah." "You hate them," said Kale. "You hate both your kids because their father isn't Minato Namikaze. You finally get it. It is because of Kaden and that goddamn broken condom that I could never be with Minato Namikaze," snapped Tsum. "Too bad you will never tell anyone about this." With that she charged forward with her two kunai in hand. Once she was close to Kale she lunged forward, aiming a kunai at his head. However, Kale had different ideas as he ducked down and reached into his own weapon's pouch. Tsum's eyes widened as she saw a flash of metal. She knew she couldn't move out of the way in time. She fell to the ground, instantly grabbing her neck as blood ran down her arm. "You had that?" asked Tsum as she looked at the tomahawk in Kale's hand. I offered our father's weapon to him, said Kale as he held Kaiden's own tomahawk in his hands. It's kind of funny that my father's weapon takes your life. Kiba and the clan will throw you out for my murder, said Tsum as more blood ran down her neck. Even if I failed to murder you, I still won. I don't think so, said a new voice as Tsum looked up to see Tsunade standing on the rooftop. Tsum's eyes widened as she looked into the Hokage's eyes. I saw you attack Kale and him defending himself. Tsum fell to the ground as more blood ran down from the deep cut across her neck. Are you alright, Kale? Asked Tsunade. Can you save her? Asked Kale as Tsunade looked at the tomahawk in Kale's hand. Didn't your father or brother tell you about this weapon? Asked Tsunade. No, said Kale. It's an ancient weapon used by every leader of the Inuzuka clan apart from Kiba. It was forged with chakra steel, said Tsunade. Chakra steel? Asked Kale. It's a lost art of forging metal with chakra, explained Tsunade. A side effect of that process is that any wounds done by a blade made out of that steel can't be healed by chakra. So there is nothing you can do to save her? Asked Kale. Even with chakra it would be hard, without chakra it is impossible, said Tsunade as she took the blade from Kale. Now why don't you head to the bunkers? I will take care of things here. Nearby, two demon enemies neared each other. The Snake Lord Seamus and the Fox Lord Kyubi hadn't engaged each other in direct combat yet. They looked at each other from across the battlefield. All around them other demons were already engaged in battle. It has been a long time since Kyubi, stated Seamus with a grin. I am betting my student is already eating the remains of your student. I can't believe you are doing this even though you know about the threat from the Akatsuki and their plan to free Ru, said Kyubi. Like I would believe any information coming from you, said Seamus. Besides, even if the humans do let him out, it has been millions of years. The stories about Ru are overblown. You fool, said Kyubi, he will destroy us all. If you fear him, then surrender and the seal will remain intact, said Seamus as red chakra danced around Kyubi. It will not matter, you will kill me before killing all my people and the humans. The seal will weaken, so I might as well kill you and hope the seal holds, said Kyubi as red chakra covered his body. So much chakra that it turned the night sky red. Across from him Seamus began to cover his body with purple demon. The chakras from the two demons covered the sky and began to battle even as the two lords just glared at each other. The entire village began to shake and a few badly damaged buildings fell down under the force of chakra alone. Finally both of them stopped releasing chakra as the ground stopped shaking. So you ready to go? Asked Seamus as he coiled up, raising his head up high, opening up his mouth to show his two long sharp fangs dripping with venom. The Kyubi resounded by getting down into a pouncing position as his 9 tails danced around his back, thrashing enemies with ease. Even while he was preparing to attack the head snake, he was killing enemy snakes with his tails. Bring it on, you snake, growled Kyubi. Nico, the Lord of Sharks, and Hatch Hide did battle. Running around striking small blows against the shark was Sakura. She knew she wasn't strong enough to stand up against a demon lord alone. None of the summoners were. She knew she only had the strength of a 4 or 5-tailed demon, but it didn't stop her from causing some pain to her enemy. The only problem was that she mostly used water justice, and that didn't work on a demon shark. Sakura, I know you want to help, but go help Shikamaru. I will handle things here, ordered Hatch High as Sakura looked toward the demon wolf lord. Are you sure? Asked Sakura. Yes, you already helped a lot, said Hatch High, now help my summoner. Alright, answered Sakura as she took off to help her friend. You don't want her to see your end, do you, wolf? Stated Nico. I wonder, Nico, said Hatch High as he showed his teeth, how well you will taste with some fish sauce. The woods outside of the hidden leaf started to fall as two groups of demons clashed. The demon lions and the demon scorpions, because of the loss of their lords in the first battle, were the weaker groups. However, their strength was still enough to bring large parts of the forest down. Trees were either burning or were breaking apart under the force of different chakra attacks. In the middle of the battle, Hinata jumped onto a large oak tree as it began to fall to the ground. Quickly she pulled out an arrow and launched it at her enemy. a half-human half-scorpion sage form Yugo. The moment she launched the arrow, she jumped off the tree without a moment to spare as a large scorpion tail stabbed the tree. "Prepare to die, you lion bitch," stated Yugo as he charged forward toward Hinata, his claws snapping wildly. Hinata's eyes widened as one of Yugo's claws came within inches of her nose, so close that it cut some of her long hair that had moved in front of her. "Hinata," yelled Kiba as he went to help his wife. "Kiba, I will hand him a punch though to the leaf," ordered Hinata as she used her bow to hit the side of Yugo's face. However, the blow didn't slow him down, it just made him angrier. "You will never see the leaf again," stated Yugo as his hand flew forward. His goal was to simply snap Hinata's head off. Hinata blocked the attack the only way she could. She sacrificed her bow to save her own life. The bow her master had given her snapped under the force of Yugo's pincer. "I have you now." "I don't think so," said Hinata as she ducked under Yugo's attack, when two chakra lions covered her fist. Gentle step twin lion's fist. Hinata hit Yugo's chest with her modified gentle fist style. To her amazement, Yugo's scorpion skin armor protected him. "I do think so," said Yugo. Back at the battlefield of the leaf, Shikamaru jumped over Suigetsu's shark skin blade, better known as the Samahata blade. Shikamaru had tried more than a few times to cut the blade with his own demon wolf steel knives. Pound for pound his steel was stronger, but the steel of the sword was thicker and all he could do was nick at hit. "Stand and fight me, Wafi," growled Suigetsu as he turned around to attack Shikamaru again. He swung his sword again and once again Shikamaru jumped over, only this time he landed on top of the moving blade. Instantly dozens of razor-sharp fins snapped out of the wrapping around the blade. Shikamaru stayed inches in front of the cuts as he ran down the sword toward Suigetsu. "I am," answered Shikamaru as he reached the end of the blade. Once again Suigetsu either didn't try to get out of the way or he couldn't, as Shikamaru plunged another one of his knives into Suigetsu's head. However, instead of piercing skin, the knife just passed through Suigetsu's head as he turned the top of his head into water. "When will you learn?" asked Suigetsu as a wall of water slammed against Shikamaru's side. Shikamaru went flying head of heels across the destroyed battlefield of the leaf until he finally came to a stop. Slowly he stood back up, a hand holding his side. The water had hit the same spot as the sword, meaning he had no armor to protect him. He looked toward the wound only to see a line of thin cuts running up and down his side. On their own a single cut wouldn't cause him any problem, but the number of them meant a lot of blood loss and pain. "Looks like that armor isn't foolproof." "Looks like you are an idiot," said Shikamaru as he disappeared in a puff of smoke. Suigetsu sniffed the air, trying to get an idea on where Shikamaru was based on the smell of his blood. However, his answer came when Shikamaru plunged another knife into his back. Instantly Suigetsu spun around, making Shikamaru lose his grip. With the loss of his grip, Shikamaru was left in mid-air for a second and Suigetsu had a clear shot at him with his tail, which he took. Once again Shikamaru went flying through the air from the blow from Suigetsu. However, this time instead of landing in a flat area, he hit an uprise made of the remains of a house, causing him to spin in the air, snapping his leg. "You must be out of chakra if all you are doing is trying to stab me," said Suigetsu as he pulled the knife out of his back. Slowly Shikamaru tried to stand, only to fall back down from the broken leg and the wound to his side. His breathing was heavy and more than a few cuts were on his face. "You have no idea what I can do," answered Shikamaru. "I have, you know," yelled Suigetsu as he charged forward, his sword raised toward a kneeling Shikamaru. "Time for you to die." When he was within inches of Shikamaru's head, his target rolled over and stabbed yet another one of his knives into his side. Suigetsu stopped as he looked at Shikamaru. "What was the point of that? I will just turn into water and the blade will pass through me," stated Suigetsu as he tried to turn part of his body into water, only to find that he could, and to top it all off, he couldn't move. "What the? You forget that the mist had full records about your ability, so I planned ahead," said Shikamaru with a smirk as a shadow connected the two of them. "Remember those knives I dove into your body? Do you remember where they were placed?" Suigetsu's eyes widened as he remembered. one in each shoulder, one in each hip, head and back of neck and finally one in his heart. You didn't? Asked Suigetsu as Shikamaru grinned as the blood kept flowing down his side. You created a seal that stops me from turning into water. Oh, it does way more than that, said Shikamaru. See, at the tip of each blade was just a little bit of chakra, a marker to help form a seal. Suigetsu's eyes widened as electricity started to dance around Shikamaru. You still have chakra? Asked Suigetsu. I have plenty of chakra, but the problem is any lightning I do to you would just pass through you, causing little harm to you, said Shikamaru. Now you can't turn your body into all water, this will have the same effect as normal flesh. You set this up from the beginning, said a stunned Suigetsu. You were just setting this all up. I am not just a demon summoner, I am a military planner, said Shikamaru. I was 5 moves ahead of you from the very beginning. Now it is time for checkmate. What are you going to do? Asked Suigetsu. The seal is going to gild the full force of my lightning attack straight into your heart before traveling up your spine and firing every neuron in your brain, said Shikamaru. It will kill you in an instant. What? Asked Suigetsu. My only regret is that it will all be over so fast that you will not feel anything. You will not pay for all the people you killed in the past and the ones you tried to today, said Shikamaru. Wait, we can work out a deal, can't we? Said Suigetsu as he tried to move. No, we can't have a fun time in whatever hellhole your soul ends up in, said Shikamaru as he ran through hand lightning-style demon wolf claw. With that, Suigetsu's body began to shake as lightning danced around him, all his muscles smashed as his first heart followed by his brain and nervous system were fired. Shikamaru then pulled his knife out as the dead Suigetsu fell to the ground with a thud. Rest in hell, you shark son of a bitch, I have to help the others, snapped Shikamaru as he stood up only to fall back down onto a knee holding his side. Face it, Shikamaru, you are out of this fight, you don't have any chakra left, your arm is broken in at least 4 places, you can't see out of one eye. You would do more harm than good, thought Shikamaru as he tried to force himself back up but once again failed. I have to fall back and hope that the others can pull it off. Shikamaru, yelled a new voice as Shikamaru looked up to see Sakura running toward him. Hello Sakura, said Shikamaru as he tried to stand up again but once again he failed. How are you doing? I am doing better than you, said Sakura as she leaned over and started healing Shikamaru's wounds. But looks like you finished off one another summoner. Yeah, said Shikamaru as he winced a bit as Sakura put his leg bone back in place. Once I patch you up, head to the hospital, said Sakura. I need to get back into the fight, stated Shikamaru as Sakura glared at him. Normally this kind of wound would mean a few months in the hospital, stated Sakura, sounding so much like a doctor. With your healing ability it cuts it down to a week, but still. Alright, what about you? Asked Shikamaru. I am going to go find my husband and kill that snake Sasuke, stated Sakura as she finished healing the wound. Nearby the mighty guy fell to the ground. He had opened all the chakra gates in an attempt to bring his lost Lee back to the leaf. Even with his new strength, which made him capable of taking on the Hokage, but he just couldn't bring himself to finish his student. Lee was trying to hold his own, but with Guy's new power not even he could beat him. He was just trying not to get hit too badly. One of Guy's punches landed on Lee's face, sending him flying through the remains of a building, bringing it down on top of him. Guy-sensei, please stop this. If you shut your gate now you may have a chance, pleaded Lee as he pulled himself out of the rubble of the building. You know that will not save me now, Lee, said Guy as he charged forward. Within yards of Lee and Guy, Lee's Akatsuki partner Guren fell to the ground. She was on her last leg. Thanks to Niji's Byakugan she had lost all chakra control to her right arm and left leg. To top that, one of tendons had hit the back of her right knee, cutting tendons, making it hard to stand or move. Surrender, we will take you prisoner, said Niji as he stood in front of Guren. Behind him was Tenten holding a hand axe and a kunai. I will never surrender, snapped Guren as she moved her last good arm toward Niji. Out of her arm came a large crystal. Niji didn't have time to move as the crystal flew into his chest. Tenten's eyes widened as she watched her husband fall to the ground with a large crystal sticking out of his chest. Niji, yelled Tenten as she threw her kunai at Guren. Guren created a crystal shield in front of her face, taking the kunai hit. Is that all you have? Asked Guren as she lowered her face shield. When the shield lowered, she saw Tenten kneeling beside a bleeding Niji. However, her eyes widened as she saw Tenten's empty hands. Where did her hand axe go? Thought Guren. Did she drop it or something? It was her last thought as the axe Tenten had thrown came around, going through her neck, decapitating her. Tenten didn't care about the now headless Guren on the ground only yards away from her. Niji-kun, are you with me? Pleaded Tenten as she looked down at her husband. Somehow the crystal had missed his heart, but he was still bleeding badly and his eyes were wide. Crap, he is going into shock. I need to get him to the hospital now, I can't lose him. Meanwhile, back in the woods, Hinata jumped back from another one of Yugo's attacks. Come back, you pussy, said Yugo as mounds of earth shot up from the ground trying to hit Hinata. You haven't seen what I can do, growled Hinata as Yugo saw fangs in her mouth. Yugo watched as Hinata grew in size as dark blue fur covered her body. Hinata grew from her normal height to just over 7 feet tall. Even though it was his wife, Kiba wasn't used to seeing his wife as a 7-foot-tall female lion hybrid. Ah, so it's Sage versus Sage? Asked Yugo with a grin. No, I will end this now, growled Hinata as chakra danced around her fist just like they did before. You tried that move earlier, said Yugo with a laugh. It didn't work last time, it will not work now. This isn't the same Justu or the same form. This is my ultimate attack, something that no one can live through, stated Hinata as chakra danced around her sage form body. I have only one shot at this, if I fail then I will leave sage mode, thought Hinata as more chakra danced around her. This is a one-shot Justu. It is time for you to die, Scorpion, snapped Hinata as Yugo's eyes widened as the chakra took the form of a giant lion behind Hinata. 2 smaller lion faces formed around her arms. Demon lion style triple lion bite, yelled Hinata as she charged forward so fast that Yugo couldn't move out of the way. In short sprints, lions were the fastest of all demons. She sent her fist forward. Yugo didn't move out of the way in time as one of Hinata's first flew through Yugo's chest armor, the chakra lion fist biting into his heart as the other went beside it, biting his spine. Hinata wasn't done as she glared into Yugo's stunned eyes with her own silted cat eyes. Yugo's eyes widened as the large chakra lion's head came down, biting down on Yugo's head and neck. Have a fun time in hell, snapped Hinata as she let out a massive roar as she pulled her arms out of Yugo's body. The chakra lions pulled Yugo apart so violently that his blood and body parts went flying everywhere. For a moment after Yugo's death, Hinata just stood there breathing heavily as slowly she began to change back into her human form. Hinata, are you okay? Asked Kiba as he looked at his blood-covered wife. Yeah, answered Hinata as she whipped some blood off her clothes and face. We have a hole through their lines, we can get back to the leaf, reported a small lion as he ran up to them. Good, let's get going, said Hinata as she stepped over the remains of Yugo. We need to get to the leaf before anyone else dies. Back in the leaf, Guy charged forward with another chakra-fueled punch. Over the course of a few minutes, Lee's defenses had fallen and now was open for one final attack. Guy was about to deliver the final blow and knock out his student. His hope was someone would come around and find him later. Goodbye, Lee, said Guy as he pulled back his fist. Lee prepared himself for the punch, however it didn't come. Lee looked toward his sensei to see Guy standing there, his fist within inches of Lee's face. However, the chakra that had surrounded him was gone and his other hand gripped his chest. No, said Lee as Guy smiled. Looks like this is the end, Lee, said Guy as the last of his chakra left him as he fell to his knees. I hope your youthful flame has been relight and you will walk the path that. The legendary mighty Guy didn't get to finish his last words as heart and body failed him. No, sensei, cried Lee with tears in his eyes as he held on to this dead sensei. As he cried, his rage began to build. Sensei, I will take advantage of your death, I will bring his village back, I will kill Naruto and all the demons. While battles raged all around them, two old friends and even older enemies just looked at each other. Their battleground was the remains of the Uchiha compound, abandoned long ago and left to turn into ruins. "This ends here," said Sasuke as he ran no hand signs before breathing out a giant ball of fire. However, his target wasn't Naruto, it was his former home. "I will destroy you along with my horrible past. That is one thing I never understood about you, Sasuke," said Naruto as Sasuke's childhood home was engulfed in flames. Inside, faded family photos turned into ash. "You had a family, you knew what it was like to have a family. Why would you want to destroy that? How dare you," snapped Sasuke as his Sharingan spun around faster than Naruto had ever seen. "You were the goddamn lucky one, you never knew your family, so how could you miss them?" "I miss my parents every day of my life. To this day I dream about how my life would have been if my parents had lived through that night," said Naruto as he looked at the ground. "You have memories of a happy childhood, mine was nothing but pain." "You have no idea what my life was like," stated Sasuke. "No, I don't," said Naruto, just trying to figure out how we came to this point. "I will tell you how we got to this point, Naruto," said Sasuke. "We were born to be enemies. I am a Uchiha and you are a Namikaze. Our clans have been enemies since before the village was founded." "I don't believe that," said Naruto. "Still trying to make me come back to this place?" asked Sasuke with a grin. "No," said Naruto, "I gave up on that a long time ago." "Then what was the point of this whole thing?" asked Sasuke as Naruto looked to his right. He could see the old dock. He remembered walking by one day when he was younger and seeing Sasuke sitting on the docks. "Maybe I am just saying goodbye to my past with you," said Naruto. "Here, let me say goodbye for you," said Sasuke as he charged forward with his sword raised. Naruto sidestepped the attack as he tried to kick Sasuke in the gut. However, Sasuke placed his sword into the ground, allowing him to jump over the attack. Naruto's eyes widened as he saw Sasuke's Chidori-covered hand within inches of his face. "Die, Naruto!" yelled Sasuke as the Chidori started to shoot out in a solid beam of energy. Chidori sharp spear. There was only one way out and Naruto took it as he disappeared in a flash of yellow light. Sasuke growled as he looked to the right to see Naruto standing a few feet away from him, blood running down the side of his face. "Looks like my Chidori had some effect," said Sasuke as Naruto wiped away the blood. "You would think that, wouldn't you?" said Naruto with a grin as Sasuke's eyes widened as he spun around just in time to block Naruto's sword attack. The Naruto standing before him didn't have a cut on him. "Shadow clone?" asked Sasuke as lightning danced around his sword blade. "I thought you would learn a new trick." "I have," Naruto said as Sasuke's eyes widened as he looked at Naruto's sword. It was fair, but Sasuke could make out a line of chakra-filled air dancing around Naruto's sword, dispersing Sasuke's lightning. Across the battlefield, two other longtime enemies did battle just like their summoners. Kyuubi, the Lord of Demon Foxes, did battle with Sheamus, the Lord of all Demon Snakes. Dancing around their feet were their massive armies. Even though this was an army around them, everyone left them alone. Both sides knew that their lords wanted the honor of killing the enemy lord. "Time to die," growled Kyuubi as he lunged forward. His target was what foxes called the sweet spot. It was just below a snake's mouth. If a fox bit down there, the enemy snake was unable to bite them and use their venom on the fox. However, the snakes also knew that every fox was trained to go for that spot. The Kyuubi wasn't lucky as Sheamus moved out of the way just in time. Instead of biting down into Sheamus in the sweet spot, the Kyuubi hit the center of the snake's body. "I got you now," said Sheamus as he went to bite the Kyuubi just above the neck. However, as he went to bite, the Kyuubi's tails came into play, striking the Lord of all Snakes in the face. The attack slowed down Sheamus' attack long enough for the Kyuubi to pull back, taking a large piece of flesh with him. He spat out Sheamus' flesh as he turned to face his now wounded enemy. "Lightning bite," yelled Sheamus as out of the sky came two huge bolts of lightning. The attack hit Kyuubi in the back, forcing him to the ground as he howled in pain. "Fire tail," growled the Kyuubi as all his tails whipped forward, sending out a wave of fire so strong that all but a demon lord would burn. However, he was against a demon lord. When the giant fireball cleared, Seamus stood there, steam coming off his scaled skin. "In a way I should thank you, that fire sealed the bite wound you gave me, stopping blood loss," said Seamus as the Kyuubi glared at his longtime enemy. "I should have known that," thought the Kyuubi as his tails moved around him before spreading out. "Take this," said the Kyuubi as he opened his mouth and sent a beam of pure chakra toward his enemy. The beam ripped through everything in its path, creating a path of destruction that reached out for miles away. However, when the beam faded, Seamus remained, while most of him, starting at the tip of his tail about an eighth of the giant snake, was gone, destroyed into nothingness. Elsewhere on the battlefield, Naruto and Sasuke jumped back from each other's swords at the ready. "Chidori Senbon," cried Sasuke as dozens of lightning needles shot out from Sasuke's hand. However, to Naruto's amazement, the attack was wild needles of lightning flying everywhere but toward Naruto. "What is going on?" thought Naruto as suddenly the needles turned around in midair and came flying at Naruto from all directions. "Crap. Let's see you get out of that," said Sasuke as the needles struck their target before exploding in a giant ball of lightning. To Sasuke's amazement, Naruto came charging out of the attack. He jumped back in the hopes of getting away from Naruto's attack. "Get out of this," yelled Naruto as he swung his sword, missing Sasuke's neck by inches. Sasuke jumped backwards, landing on top of a mound of rubble. During their battle, they had moved from the Uchiha compound to where Pain had used Jiraiya as a suicide attack. "How did you make it out of that?" asked Sasuke as he noticed Naruto's black cloak, much like his father's, was full of holes from where Sasuke's attack had hit him. "My father's transportation justu, and since you figured I would attack you from a different point, the front would be the best," said Naruto. "That is what you think," said Sasuke as Naruto heard a hissing sound. He looked down just in time to see a line of paper bombs burning. He jumped back just as the explosion rocked the area. As he jumped, he threw his burning cloak aside. When he landed again, all he had on was his black ninja pants and dark gray Jounin vest. Across from him, Sasuke was still dressed in his snake-skinned battle armor. "Time to finish this," growled Naruto as a shadow clone appeared behind him. The real Naruto extended his hand as the clone started to gild demon chakra around his hand. "Still using that trick?" asked Sasuke. "For this attack, yes," said Naruto as the spinning ball of chakra took on a red glow as demon chakra poured in. Finally, it took on the shape of a shuriken as a high-pitched sound filled the air. Suddenly, Naruto disappeared in a flash of yellow light before reappearing directly in front of Sasuke. Demon Wind Release Raisin Shuriken. Sasuke's eyes widened as the attack hit him point blank in the chest before exploding in a massive explosion, sending them both flying backwards. Slowly, Naruto stood up and looked toward where Sasuke had crashed into. "Looks like I will win," said Naruto as suddenly Sasuke started moving. To Naruto's amazement, Sasuke stood back up. "But how? That attack should have destroyed your entire chakra network." "I am afraid you have proven again to be dead last," said Sasuke as he hit some straps in his armor as his chest plate fell away, showing an almost perfect match to the clothes he wore when he was still with the Sound Village. That is when Naruto noticed the burns inside the snake skin armor. "All you did was destroy my armor." "That is one step toward killing you," said Naruto as he noticed Sasuke's chest muscles growing as his skin turned black and scaly. "So it is going there?" "Yes," hissed Sasuke as a forked tongue came out. Naruto's eyes widened as he stepped to the right as a shadow clone of Sasuke. The clone tried and failed to hit Naruto, however Naruto did hit the clone, destroying it. "You're not the only one who can use shadow clones. And you are not the only one who can use Sage Mode," growled Naruto as blonde fur began to cover his arm. "I will make sure you die, slowly." Nearby, the Kyuubi was getting the upper hand against Seamus. The Lord of all Snakes had lost the last 1/8 of his tail and had a huge hole in his gut from where the Kyuubi had bitten into him. "Fire style." "Inferno," yelled Kyuubi as a stream of flame shot out of his mouth, hitting Seamus in the right eye, burning it into ash. "I will not lose to you," yelled Seamus as he spun around, hitting Kyuubi with his tail. Even though the Kyuubi had removed parts of the tail, it still knocked him into the ground. While Kyuubi was down, Seamus struck, his fangs biting into the Kyuubi, delivering a large amount of venom into the Lord. The Kyuubi growled in pain as he kicked the snake off him before pinning him to the ground. Without even thinking, he bites into the back of the Lord of the Snake's head before ripping it off with one massive pull. "You lose," said Kyuubi as his blood ran down a bit from Seamus. However, he couldn't take a step away from his kill before falling to the ground. "Lord Kyuubi!" yelled a medical fox as every medical fox within sight ran to the aid of their lord, in the hopes of pulling out the snake's venom. "Father!" yelled Saito as he ran toward his poisoned father. While Kyuubi was fighting for his life against the final attack by Seamus, a sage battle was raging between Naruto and Sasuke. The two of them had thrown their swords and weapons aside, they wanted to kill the other with their hands. Naruto's razor-sharp claws ripped through Sasuke's flesh. Sasuke used his tail to hit Naruto in the gut, only to try to bite his head off, only to be stopped when Naruto grabbed the edges of his mouth and held it open. "I will kill you," growled Naruto through his fox teeth as Sasuke took the advantage of Naruto holding back his bite to deliver a few sucker punches to Naruto's gut. Naruto resounded by rolling the two of the over before throwing his hands and Sasuke's face to the side, freeing his hands to punch into Sasuke's unarmored chest. Sasuke responded by wrapping his tail around Naruto as he began squeezing him to death. Naruto felt his ribs breaking under Sasuke's attack. "I will break you," said Sasuke as he smiled as he looked into Naruto's eyes as life started to leave them. Naruto felt his bones breaking one by one. "And to make it better, if you try your Thunder God technique, I will travel with you." "Sakura-chan, Eri, Riki," thought Naruto as his images of his wife and his two young kids flashed before his eyes. "I will not leave my family." Sasuke's eyes widened as Naruto began to push back against the attack. To his amazement, he was actually forcing him back, freeing himself from the hand of death. "I will finish you now," said Sasuke as he went to bite down on Naruto's head, only to have him disappear in a flash of light. Sasuke winced in pain as he bit down into his own tail. Yards away, Naruto was coughing up blood as he tried to get air into his lungs. "You son of a bitch! I will not let you or anyone else take me away from my family," said Naruto as the two of them regained their feet. While the two of them battled, the true threat began to move. "Looks like Seamus is dead and Kyuubi is badly hurt," stated Pain as he and Madara stood on the hillside. "Yes, and with the Nai and Hatch high hurt means the seal is weakened enough so that I can carry out my plan," said Madara. "Pain, I need you at your best. Once this is done, we will have true and forever lasting peace." Pain nodded his head as he formed a hand sign. All around the leaf on 5 different hilltops, the remaining paths of Pain began the Justu. Out on the battlefield, everyone stopped as the whole village began to shake like it had never had before. Damaged buildings fell as even pieces of the Hokage mountain fell to earth. "What is going on?" asked Sasuke as 5 beams of light shot up from all around the leaf, before hitting the moon. "Oh no," said Naruto as he looked up into the sky. They had been doing battle so long that the sun should have been up. To make matters more was the fact that the moon was now blood red. "Yes," said a new voice as Naruto and Sasuke looked to their right to see Madara standing there on top of Jiraiya. Naruto's eyes widened as a seal of chakra formed around the dead Jiraiya's body. It was more than a suicide attack, he was placing a seal, thought Naruto. "The battle has weakened the seal enough to release the ultimate demon," laughed Madara as huge cracks began to appear in the moon. "Rue of the Black Flame." "Crap," said Naruto as he looked up into the sky. "What is going on?" asked Sasuke as he looked up at the sky. Just the 2 giant bat-like black wings shot out of the sides of the moon. The sky itself seemed to darken as the stars started to disappear from the sky as the moon seemed to come closer and closer to the earth until it filled the night sky. "Basically, hell is descending," stated Naruto with a look of pure terror in his eyes as suddenly the front side of the moon burst apart as a large red crystal appeared. "The moon is crystal?" asked Sasuke. "Didn't Seamus tell you?" yelled Naruto. "Tell me what?" growled Sasuke. It was a prison ruse for a demon with the power of a god. He will kill everyone on both sides, stated Naruto. We are all dead now. With that, the crystal broke open as a large black dragon filled the sky. It had razor-sharp black claws, but somehow its skin was even darker. Across its back were blood-red tiger stripes. A long spine were black spikes ending with two massive horns on its head. Even with all that, the part that scared Naruto the most were the eyes. They glowed blood red. Suddenly it let out a massive roar, showing off its row of sharp teeth. It let out a massive stream of black fire that burned the sky. I am free, free at last to burn this planet and the universe itself into nothing but glass and lava, stated the dragon of the black flame Ru. I don't think so, said Madara as 6 beams of light shot out of the ground around the leaf surrounding Ru. I am going to seal you within me and become the ultimate Jinchuriki, laughed Madara as Ru came closer and closer to Madara. However, Ru started to chuckle like a madman. Foolish human, you can't contain my power, let me show you, stated Ru as he suddenly dove down straight, disappearing into Madara. For a moment nothing seemed to happen as black chakra danced around Madara. Ah, the power, said Madara as his eyes started to glow red. Such power, such wonderful power. No, cried Naruto as he charged forward toward Madara. If I kill him, I may kill this Ru. However, Naruto didn't get close to Madara as a wave of chakra unlike anything Naruto had ever felt sent him flying backwards. Even demons bow before my power, laughed Madara because he suddenly fell to the ground in pain. Too much power. You can't hold that power, no one can, cried Naruto. It hurts, cried Madara in pain as blood ran out of his eyes and his nose. I told you my power is too much for you or any weak human or demon, said Ru from within Madara. Suddenly Madara let out a scream of pain before he exploded in a shower of flesh and blood. When the blood rain cleared, Ru stood there. His size had shrunk from the size of the moon to the size of a man. I have to admit the human was good for one thing, said Ru as he looked at Naruto and Sasuke. He did inform me about you too, Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, summoner of the demon foxes, and Sasuke Uchiha, summoner of the demon snakes. Slowly Ru started to change from a giant dragon into a human. He was maybe 6 feet 3 inches tall with short light red hair styled backwards on his head. He was dressed in pure black pants and shirt with a long-sleeved black coat. To top it off, he had on black combat boots and gloves. However, it was his silted eyes that glowed red as if fire was burning behind them. I modeled him after Albert Wesker from Resident Evil. I was watching the latest movie while I wrote. I have to admit, while this form may be weak, but it is entertaining nonetheless. I can't destroy the world in a day. What would be the fun in that? Who is he? Asked Sasuke. He is, started Naruto, only to get punched so hard in the gut that it sent him flying backwards into a mound of rubble. Please Namikaze, that is my job, laughed Ru as he straightened his coat. Sasuke's eyes widened at the speed of this newcomer. He stood where Naruto used to be, and he had gotten to that point without a flash of light like Naruto's Thunder God technique or even raising his chakra. I am Ru of the Black Flames, and even though I decided to take this form, I am what you humans may consider a god. May I consider? Asked Sasuke as Ru walked around him with his hands across his chest. I am a member of a race far older and far more powerful than humans or demons. If my sister hadn't gotten in the way, I would have destroyed this world before life even formed on it. Oh well, looks like I will have some fun with this world before I burn it into ash, said Ru with a grin, and I might as well start with you too and this village. You will have to go through me first, said Naruto as he forced himself to his feet. Well, that shouldn't be a problem, said Ru as suddenly dozens of needles hit his body. He looked down to see dozens of lightning rods in his body. A Chidori, is that all you got, Sasuke? Asked Naruto as he looked at his enemy. He killed Madara. I wanted to do that, stated Sasuke. I will kill him for that. After he is dead, I will kill you. An alliance? Asked Naruto with a grin. For the moment, answered Sasuke. Well, maybe I will have some fun with you too after all. said Ru. Miles away from the battlefield in the village hidden in the sand, Gaara the Kazekage stood looking up at the sky, or rather the lack of a sky. It was totally black and not even stars were visible. It was almost 8 in the morning. The sun should already be high in the late summer skies, but it was totally black. The only thing that was visible was the moon, frozen in place to the northeast toward the Leaf Village. The moon itself wasn't the same, it looked torn apart, showing it to be nothing more than an empty shell. Gaara asked his brother Kankuro as he stormed into the Kazekage's private bedroom chamber. Gaara thanked God that he didn't see Matsuri putting on her jounin vest. He hadn't told his brother or his sister of his relationship with the head of the Jonin teams. "I know," said Gaara, "get every ninja we have and prepare to head toward the Leaf. There is no time to spare. It will take at least 3 days to reach there at top speed," said Kankuro. "It is better than just sitting back and waiting," said Gaara as Kankuro turned around to see Matsuri standing there. She was still straightening her hair. "Good Matsuri, get the joining together, we leave in 20 minutes, ordered Kankuro. 10, stated Gaara. "All right, 10, said Kankuro as he walked out. "Matsuri," said Gaara. "Yes, Lord Kazekage?" asked Matsuri. "I think you are forgetting something," said Gaara as Matsuri followed her leader's and her lover's eyes to a scrap of clothing lying where Kankuro used to be. It was a black lacy bra, her bra. "Yeah, I can't really go anywhere without that," said Matsuri as she picked up the bra. "Be careful," said Gaara. "I will," said Matsuri with a smile. "I promise I will tell my brother," started Gaara, only to be stopped by Matsuri. "I know you want to tell your brother and sister at the same time, and in war that is hard to do," said Matsuri. "Now I better get going before Kankuro comes back." In the leaf, Sakura stood stunned as she tried to process what was happening. First the ground was shaking, and then 5 beams of light shot up from around the leaf before a large single one shot up from another point in the battlefield. That is when Sakura noticed the moon was red. Her heart froze within her chest as she knew what was about to happen, but yet knew there was nothing she could do to stop it from happening. Before her terrified eyes, a black dragon erupted from the moon. Suddenly the dragon dove down before disappearing, however the fear remained. She could still feel that chakra. It felt like nothing she had ever felt before. It was worse than Sasuke's chakra. The only way she could describe it was a sense of being in pure darkness and burning and freezing at the same time. It was pure evil. "Naruto-kun," said Sakura as her heart filled with dread. She could still feel that Naruto was alive thanks to the mating seal, but it was almost like something was blocking her reaching out and contacting him. "Ru of the Black Flame, that must be who is blocking me. That means Naruto is fighting him." "Sakura," said a new voice as Sakura looked to her right just in time to see Kakashi landing nearby. "Late as always, Kakashi," said Sakura. "It isn't my fault that the enemy decided to launch an attack on my first weekend off in years," stated Kakashi. "You were due back last night," said Sakura. "I was helping a little old lady cross the road," said Kakashi as Sakura rolled her eyes. "Right now I don't fucking care," snapped Sakura. "A threat like no other is going to destroy us all unless we seal him away now." "Alright, you get the foxes and I'll find Tsunade," said Kakashi. "I am going to Naruto-kun," growled Sakura as her eyes became silted. "Sakura, Naruto will be better off if you come with an army instead of just yourself," said Kakashi. Less than a mile away, Ru stood in his human form across from the sage Naruto and Sasuke. "Bring it on, you emo snake and hyperactive fox," laughed Ru as he played with the 2 ninjas in front of him. "Keep him off my back," ordered Sasuke as Naruto nodded as he formed a hand sign as dozens of Sage Narutos appeared before charging toward Ru. "Please," said Ru as he suddenly disappeared before suddenly reappearing in front of Naruto, punching him in the gut, making him disappear in a puff of smoke. The other Narutos turned and charged forward into a huge close-quarter battle, however they could never lay a finger on Ru. He simply dodged every single one of the attacks like it was nothing. Naruto's eyes widened as he noticed Ru actually had his hands in his pockets like he was bored. "Are you done playing around?" "Rasengan," yelled the Narutos as all 7 of the front clones formed a Rasengan and attacked. Ru simply disappeared and let the attack hit each other, destroying the clones. The real Naruto flew backwards from his own attack. "Idiot," said Sasuke as Ru turned to face the snake man. Sasuke was standing on a small rise. Above him the remains of red flames were disappearing into a gathering storm front. "I will end this now." "Will you?" asked Ru as lightning danced around Sasuke. Slowly the image of a huge cobra snake appeared out of the lightning. "Yes, with the ultimate form of the Kirin," said Sasuke as another two snakes appeared in the sky. They both looked similar only when all three opened their mouths, showing that only two of them had fangs. The three lighting snakes. Ru just stood there as the first snake struck, however it didn't hit him at first, it wrapped around Ru, pinning him down. Lightning shot out from the snake hitting Ru, but he just stood there as the other two snakes struck. For a moment nothing but a giant ball of lighting appeared before it exploded in a giant explosion. "I win," said Sasuke with a grin, however his eyes widened as he saw Ru still standing there without a mark on him. "I think you need to do a recount," said Ru, "because it looks like I am winning." "How the fuck?" asked Sasuke. "Demon Wind Release Raisin Shuriken," yelled Naruto as his ultimate attack hit Ru square in the chest, and to Naruto's amazement Ru just stood there. The only thing that moved was his cloak in the wind. "I think, the word you use it ouch right?" asked Ru as he looked into Naruto's eyes before backhanding him in the face with the force of Sakura's fist. Naruto went flying before crashing into the remains of a house. Once he clashed, he started to turn back into a human. Sasuke just stood there for a second before Ru appeared behind him. With one quick move he sent Sasuke flying into the mound right next to Naruto. Like him, Sasuke changed back to his human form. "That hurt," said Naruto as he forced himself up. With some luck they had landed near. They had dropped their swords when they entered sage form. "I blame you," said Sasuke. "Me? It was your master who decided not to join the foxes in crushing the Akatsuki before this happened," snapped Naruto as he growled at his enemy. For a second the two of them glared at each other. "Are you two about done talking?" asked Ru as Naruto and Sasuke looked back to see Ru sitting in a large chair on top of a mound. Naruto's eyes widened as he released whose chair it was. "I have to say this Hokage's chair is conformable." "How did you get that?" asked Naruto. "While you were talking I decided to go for a little stroll," said Ru as he lifted a glass of Tsunade shake up to his lips. He took a sip only to make a face at the taste of it. "I don't get how you humans could like this stuff." "Get out of that chair," yelled Naruto, "before I force you out of it." "You just don't get it," said Ru as he leaned back a bit. "I can do whatever I want, you are just my playthings. I can destroy you at a whim. Like this." Before Naruto's and Sasuke's eyes, pure black chakra built up around Ru's hand before extending his arm to the right. With one flick of his wrist toward the outside of the village, a wave of chakra shot out. The two humans' eyes widened as the force destroyed everything in its path. Trees in the forest burst into black flames before falling apart into nothingness. Within a quarter of a mile of the leaf, Hinata's eyes widened as she saw the coming attack. "Incoming!" yelled Hinata seconds before the flames engulfed the forest, turning it into ash. More than a day's march away from the leaf, Gaara was leading his army toward the leaf when suddenly he noticed birds flying up in front of the army. Something wasn't right. Suddenly he could make out the outline of a pure darkness coming toward them. "Everyone gets behind me," ordered Gaara as the ninjas looked at their leader confused but followed the order nonetheless. Gaara quickly called upon all the sand he carried plus spreading his chakra into the very desert sand to form a huge barrio in front of him and his army. Without warning, the massive chakra from Ru hit the sand barrier, causing a massive inferno. "What the?" asked Kankuro as he felt the heat coming from the flames. It was beyond anything he had ever felt, and from the looks of everyone else they too were stunned. Meanwhile Gaara was struggling to hold the chakra back, but just as suddenly as it started it stopped. "What the hell was that?" asked a voice from the army as Gaara let go of his sand, only it didn't fall back to the ground. Gaara looked up at the massive wall he had formed. It had bent into a half-disc-like shape with a cone top. the sand had turned into black glass. What kind of force could do that? Asked Kankuro as he touched the still hot glass. I don't know, said Gaara as he looked toward the leaf. In front of him and his army was a line of nothingness. In a straight line heading straight to the leaf was nothing but burnt black ground. But it can't be good. Back in the leaf, Naruto and Sasuke were stunned at such power. With a flick of the wrist he had destroyed everything. Just to let you know, that was just pure chakra, not anything you would call a justu, said Ru. If I really wanted to, I could turn this planet into a burning husk of ash with a snap of my fingers. How are we going to do this? Whispered Naruto to himself. How are we going to stop this monster? You can't stop me, said Ru. Maybe we can make a deal, said Sasuke. Just like a snake trying to make a deal, snapped Naruto. I actually agree with him. Ru said, you have nothing to offer me, Sasuke Uchiha. What do you want? Asked Sasuke. I want to watch the world burn. Then after that I will burn Demon World. From there I will burn every world and everything ever created, said Ru as his eyes glowed as a sick smile formed on his face as he imagined the images before him. So there is nothing you can offer me except the sound of your screams as you are burned on the inside as you breathe in fire instead of air. How about death? Said Sasuke as he disappeared in a puff of smoke. For a second Ru actually seemed surprised before he spun around. To Naruto's amazement, Sasuke's sword grazed Ru's cheek, drawing a thin amount of blood. The wound healed almost instantly, but the blood remained. How dare you, growled Ru as he looked at his own blood. How dare your lower form of life touch me? Did you really think I would give up to the likes of you? Uchiha never gives up, said Sasuke. So Ru isn't unbeatable, said Naruto. You don't know the extent of my power, growled Ru as the sky itself started to burn with black fire. All you managed to do is piss me off. Take this, yelled Naruto as he appeared in front of Ru with a sword in hand. This time Ru was ready as he grabbed Naruto's blade with his hand. I will make you all pay, said Ru as he snapped Naruto's demon steel blade with ease. And since you are the easier one to hurt, Naruto, I will start with you. Slowly Ru raised his hand again as black flames covered his arm. This time he pointed it directly at the Hokage Mountain and the hospital, where over 90% of the village's bunkers were located and where the villagers were. No, said Naruto. Yes, I will kill almost everyone in your village in one move, said Ru as his eyes glowed deep red with his rage. I will not let you, said Naruto as he charged forward again only to get pushed back by another chakra push. No. Yes. Ru said as a giant ball of black fire went flying toward the Hokage Mountain and there was nothing he could do to stop it. At the same time, between the battle with Ru and the Hokage Mountain, lay the wounded Kyuubi. Father, just hang on, said Saito as teams of medics tried to pull out the demon and save their lord. However, it wasn't looking good. Kyuubi, said Sakura as she appeared. What happened? Poisoned by Seamus, answered Saito. What is going on in the battlefield? Ru is free, answered Sakura. Saito, you have to stop Ru, said Kyuubi. We will, but first we need to save you, said Saito to his father as a mighty roar filled the air. What is that? Asked Sakura. Kyuubi was the first of the foxes to see the attack heading toward the Hokage Mountain and the villagers. Goodbye, Saito, said Kyuubi as he summoned up the last of his strength and pushed off the ground with his feet. Lord Kyuubi, yelled all the demon foxes as they watched their lord dash across the battlefield. Father, yelled Saito as the Kyuubi leaped into the air in front of the attack, taking the massive black fireball straight in the side. A mighty roar left his lungs as he felt the flames burn through his fur and flesh and reach his inside. Slowly the fireball cleared and the Hokage Mountain remained standing, but the Kyuubi wasn't. Father, yelled Saito as he ran to his father's side. Kyuubi lay in the dirt, his side ripped open showing his rib bones and his internal organs. Blood stained the ground as the 9 tails of the demon fox lied lumped behind him. Father? Ito, said Kyuubi weakly as one of his eyes opened. Don't worry, we will find a way to save you, said Saito as Sakura and every medical fox started healing. No, you will not, laughed Kyubi. Father, why did you do that? We could have saved you, said Saito as the Kyubi gave a weak smile to his son. He was too weak to even lift his head off the ground. I was finished the moment Seamus's fangs broke my skin, said Kyubi, however even if I wasn't going to die I would have done this anyhow. Why? Asked Saito. Long ago, in my moment of weakness I caused these people pain. I am paying back debt, said Kyubi as the demon foxes gathered around their dying lord. There is only one more thing I have to do, something my father did on his deathbed. Father, don't, said Saito. I must, said Kyubi as he raised one of his tails and placed it on his son's head. You look so much like your mother, looks like I will see her and your sister soon. As my last order as the Lord of all Demon Foxes, I Kyubi pass on to the title of Lord of all Demon Foxes to you, my son Saito. May your reign be long and peaceful. Father, said Saito with tears in his eyes as Kyubi's tail fell to the ground. He was still breathing but shallow, weakening with each passing moment. What are your orders, my lord? Said one of the foxes as Saito noticed that all the demon foxes, even those who were higher than his four-tailed rank, looked at him. I want half the medics to stay here and try to save him, said Saito. That can't be done, said Sakura. I know, but I want him to live long enough to know that we defeated Ru, said Saito. The rest of the army will attack Ru of the Black Flame and we will not rest until we kill him. Yes, sir, said another fox as the army of the demon foxes moved toward Ru. Looks like Kyubi stopped my attack. Oh well, said Ru as he saw the body of the Kyubi lying on the ground between him and the Hokage mountain. Sasuke, we take him down, the two of us need to take him down, no matter what happens to us, said Naruto as Ru crossed his arms and grinned as he simply waited. No, said Sakura as she landed on the other side of the battle, we take this monster down together. You will need help, the two of you can't even lay a finger on me, said Ru. Why would the addition of the other demon fox summoner help? Who said she was alone, said Hinata as she and the remaining demon lions formed up to Ru's right. Ru looked to his left to see an injured Shikamaru standing with the demon's wolves, and to Naruto's amazement the demon sharks were beside the wolves. Even enemies know you are a threat, stated Shikamaru as Naruto looked behind him to see snakes and foxes moving in to surround Ru. Everyone is working together, but why? Asked Naruto. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. We can all feel his chakra and know the threat he is, said a new voice as 5 more figures appeared in a circle around Ru. Ah, the new sage of the 6 paths, said Ru as he looked at Pain. We all can see this creature is a threat that needs to be destroyed, said Pain, and for the moment we will set aside our competing goals to defeat him. And in case you're wondering, the ninja of the leaf is moving in to surround you too, added a new voice as Tsunade, along with Kakashi, Kiba and every ANBU they could round up appeared. How is that for help? Asked Sakura as Ru grinned as he let loose so much black evil chakra that caused everyone's spin to shiver in fear. Ru laughed a bit as he looked at the massive force gathered to attack him with his glowing red eyes. You should have brought more, stated Ru. Naruto couldn't believe what he was seeing. The enemy demons, the Akatsuki, and even Sasuke had joined them against the common enemy they shared. So all you plan to try and hurt me? Said Ru. There is no try, we are going to take you down, said Kiba as Ru rolled his eyes. Well, this is going to be entertaining, said Ru. Now I think I will start this show. With that, Ru disappeared only to reappear in front of Kiba. With one movement he punched Kiba straight up into the air. Kiba, yelled Hinata as she watched her husband fly into the air. Kiba flew high into the sky, closer and closer to the flames that now covered the sky. Don't worry, I am coming. Hinata jumped up trying to get to Kiba before he flew into the black flame. However, in mid-jump Ru appeared in front of her. I don't think so, said Ru as he raised both his hands over his head before hitting Hinata hard into the ground. Kiba, said Hinata as she tried to stand up only to get kneed hard in the gut by Ru. Too late, said Ru as Kiba's screams reached her ears. Hinata's eyes widened as she watched her husband fly into the flames for only a brief moment before falling back out. However, the damage was done. In the second he was in the flame, his clothes had caught fire and his flesh had started to burn. "Looks like I didn't hit him hard enough. He didn't burn up in the flames," said Rue. "I will kill you," growled Hinata as sharp lion fangs grew in her mouth as she went to bite the closest thing to her, Rue's leg. Her fangs sank into Rue's, ripping it off in one move. Rue jumped back, leaving his leg behind. "You bitch," said Rue as he stood there, his lower leg gone, but at the same time he didn't seem to be in much pain. "Like I said, I will kill you," said Hinata, "now I will rip off your face." "I don't think so," said Rue as he snapped his fingers. To everyone's amazement, Rue grew a new leg, clothes and all. "I can do more than just heal a few cuts like you demons can, I can grow new body parts." "Then I will just have to destroy all of you at once," said a new voice. Rue looked up to see Pain floating above him. His hands were pointed straight down at Rue. "Normally we use this to destroy large targets, but consternated it is unstoppable," said another Pain as all but the Deva path of Pain fell down. "Almighty push," yelled Pain as he sent a wave of magnetic force straight down at Rue. Rue ran through hand signs before raising his hand palm side up. To Pain's amazement, the attack stopped in its tracks. While the attack was blocked, Saito, Hatch High and Nai formed around Rue. "Thunder-style thunder claws," yelled Hatch High as he cut the air with his claws, sending a wave of demon lightning at Rue. "Water-style typhoon blast," yelled Nai as a stream of steaming hot water came flying out of the Shark Lord's mouth. "Fire-style inferno storm," yelled Saito as he breathed a stream of fire at Rue. The three massive attacks hit Rue, causing a massive explosion. "You know, I am almost impressed," said Rue as the attack cleared and Rue stood there stopping Pain's attack with one hand. The other hand was at his side as if he was bored. "How is this possible?" asked Pain as he kept streaming the force of the attack straight to Rue. "I am far stronger than you," Rue said, "however I am also a little lazy, so I hope you do mind if I use this attack." There was no time to react as Rue's chakra began to swarm around Pain's might. Suddenly the attack went all out in all directions, hitting every demon and ninja gathered against Rue. The Leaf Village was shocked as more buildings came down. In the bunkers under the Hokage Mountain, people cried as parts of the roof started to come down. Out on the battlefield, Naruto's head was pounding as he looked into the dirt. Slowly he lifted his head to see that everyone was on the ground, only Rue stood. "There has to be a way to stop him," said Naruto as he pushed himself up from the dirt. Blood was running down his face right in between his eyes. All around people were getting back up, however, like him everyone was hurt in some way. Sometime after the battle, Tsunade and Sakura had moved closer to him. "Maybe I know a way," said Tsunade before whispering into Naruto's ear, "the Death God seal." Naruto's eyes widened at the idea of using the same seal his father used to seal the Kyuubi in him on Rue. "Cover me," said Tsunade. From Naruto could say anything. Rue's face appeared within inches of Naruto and Tsunade. "Don't you know it's rude to keep secrets?" said Rue as he elbowed the two ninjas' shoulders down into the ground so hard that was beyond even Tsunade's punches. "Not that it matters much, you will be dead soon enough," said Rue with a laugh. "Take this," yelled Sakura as she sunk her hidden blade into the back of Rue's skull. To her amazement, Rue's entire body turned into flames before it reappeared facing Sakura. Her blade was going through his forehead, but yet he was still breathing. "When will you humans learn?" said Rue. "You can't win, even if you cut off this head, it is only a fake shell, I can turn into anything." Sakura's eyes widened as Rue began to morph slowly. He took on the perfect match of Naruto. Even his red eyes changed into the same shade of blue. In almost every way he matched Naruto, but he still couldn't match the warmth and love in his eyes. It made her skin crawl worse than anything she ever imagined. "Even the man you love," said Rue with a sick grin that didn't match the face he had taken. "You may copy Naruto-kun, but you will never match him," snapped Sakura as Rue rolled his eyes. "Maybe this will make you give up?" asked Rue as slowly he began to change again into a tall man just like Naruto. He looked a lot like Naruto, only with red hair, deep green eyes and no cheek birthmarks. For a moment Sakura wondered who Rue had become, then it hit her like a punch to the gut. Instantly she pulled the blade out. Or an adult version of your son, if he were to live, which he isn't going to. You monster, do you just enjoy doing this to people? Yelled Sakura and glared at Rue as he changed back into his normal form. Yeah, said Rue with a smile, I could change into an older version of your daughter, but that would be weird. How the hell could you even know about them? Asked Sakura. When Madara tried to seal me within him, I took his memories, and that included information on your family, said Rue. Take this, yelled Sakura as she went to punch Rue in the face. To her amazement, Rue stopped her attack with only his pinky finger. How about a taste of your own style? Said Rue as he flicked the pink he had stopped Sakura with. Sakura went flying backwards, hitting Shikamaru along the way. Both of them fell to the ground on top of each other. That hurt, said Sakura. I thought your husband was supposed to catch you, not me, groaned Shikamaru as the two of them slowly stood up. You shouldn't even be here, your injuries, said Sakura. I wasn't going to stay on the sidelines when the world hung on by a thread, said Shikamaru. Over here, lizard breath, yelled Tsunade as Rue turned to see Tsunade standing a few yards away from him in a stance. Prepare to be sealed away. Lady Tsunade, no, yelled every leaf ninja who knew what she was doing. It's the only way, said Tsunade as she formed the hand signs to call out the death god and seal Rue away. However, nothing happened, no image appeared behind her. No chakra was building up, nothing was happening. What the? Did you really think that your death god is equal in power to me? Asked Rue with a laugh. Why do you think he forced an end to the last demon war? He didn't want me to get out because I am far more powerful than he could ever hope to be. In fact, I could kill him in an instant. What? Asked Naruto. Yes, now how does that make you feel? Does it make your blood turn to ice and your skin crawl knowing that I could kill one of the most powerful creatures that you know in an instant? Asked Rue. This is what I feel, yelled Naruto as he ran those hand signs, air style air bullet. With that, a jet of chakra-laced air hit Rue, who stood there laughing as the attack kept coming. Do you really think that a weak attack can hurt me? Asked Rue as suddenly a spear of lightning shot out and hit him. Not alone, no, but maybe combined all of our weak attacks can hurt you, said Sasuke as everyone started to run those hand signs or gather demon chakra. Lightning claw, yelled Shikamaru. Lion's roar, yelled Hinata. Demon water just to rip current just to, yelled Sakura as a giant stream of water shot out. Almighty push, yelled Pain again as he launched another attack. Every ninja and demon began launching their own attacks as Rue just stood there grinning. However, as the attacks kept building up, his grin disappeared as he began to grind his teeth. Stop that, yelled Rue as the attack kept building up onto each other. Alone the attacks were laughable and weak to him, but together they were adding up. Parts of his flesh began to fall away, showing black scales under his skin. Soon those too started to fall away. We got him, now, yelled a Jonin in pure joy as Rue fell to his knees. Maybe, just maybe, thought Naruto. That is enough, yelled Rue as he jumped to his feet. Everyone's eyes widened as two giant black wings shot out of Rue. Suddenly a wave of chakra unlike anything any human had ever felt came out. The blast knocked everyone back as Rue turned into his real form. Rue's real form had razor-sharp black claws, but somehow its skin was even darker. Across its back were blood-red tiger stripes. A long spine were black spikes ending with two massive horns on its head. The force of the chakra sent everyone flying, and most of them blacked out while a few snapped their necks when they fell. When the chakra cleared, Rue stood in his real dragon form over the battlefield of the leaf. All around him were the bodies of the demon armies and their human allies. Suddenly he noticed a slight movement coming from below. Why am I not surprised you were able to stay awake though, that, said Rue as he changed back into his human form. Sakura, said Naruto as he raised his hand trying to reach his wife's knocked out hand. He could feel that his body was broken, it was hard to know if a single rib wasn't broken, and he could see bones coming out of his arms and his legs. On top of that, blood was coming out of his mouth. When he was within inches of touching his wife's hand, Rue's foot stomped down on his hand, breaking all his fingers, but worst of all, it stopped him from reaching his wife. "Looks like I win, just like I knew I would," said Rue. "Go to hell," snapped Naruto as Rue kicked him in his chest until he rolled over to look up at the flaming black sky with the destroyed moon in it. "However, your struggle has touched my heart," said Rue as he picked up Sasuke's sword, which lay on the ground far away from its owner. "You are a heartless son of a bitch," growled Naruto. "In a way you are totally right," said Rue as Sasuke's blade became covered in Rue's black chakra. "However, I will show you some small mercy by ending your life now. Even if you kill me, we will never stop fighting. There are others, the other villages for one. They will fight you," said Naruto as he felt his heart weakening. "I am counting on that," said Rue with a smile. "It will make it fun." Naruto closed his eyes and waited for the attack that would end his life. "Sakura-chan, Riki, and Eri, I love you," whispered Naruto as he looked toward Sakura just in time to see his wife open her green eyes. "Goodbye." However, the attack never came as a mighty roar filled the air. Naruto opened his eyes to see Rue was now looking toward the sky, kicking up dirt and ash. The once black sky was now bright as the black flames Rue had sent up did battle with pure white flames. Suddenly another bird-like cry filled the air as a huge light source appeared. "What is that?" asked Sakura as she lifted her head off the ground. Naruto could just make out a large figure in the sky made of flames flying overhead. Suddenly white flames descended from the sky all over the battlefield. To everyone's amazement, the flames didn't burn. In fact, they did the opposite. The flames started to heal the wounds as Naruto felt life return to him. All around, people and demons were standing up. "How could she be here?" asked Saito as the large bird landed on the ground. However, it wasn't made out of anything solid, it was different colors of flames. Its golden white eyes showed the same amount of kindness as hatred shown in Rue's. "She was sealed away." "So you are here," said Rue as he turned to face the phoenix. "Yes," said the phoenix as it disappeared in a flash of white flame. In its place stood a beautiful woman dressed in white. In many ways she had the same type of clothing as Rue, a long-sleeved coat that reached her knees with a pure white top and pants. Her long blonde hair was pulled back into a ponytail as her eyes glowed white. "Come to stop all my fun, Kuya?" asked Rue as he looked at his longtime enemy, the phoenix Kuya, the white flame of life. "Yes," said Kuya. "How did you even get out?" "I saw you seal yourself away in the sun," said Rue. "I linked my seal with your seal when your cell opened. My self-imposed imprisonment ended," said Kuya. "Just like you to do something like that," said Rue as he rolled his eyes. "So how is this going to go down? Do we have to do this dance? I fight you, you fight me, and in the end I only kill half the people I want to and you only save half the people you want to. Can't we just kill the humans? They are pests that don't need to be in the world. These humans and demons have done nothing to either of us," said Kuya as she gestured her hand toward the wounded all around her. "Just because they are lower forms of life doesn't give us the right to kill them. They should be left alone. How would you feel if those who are older and stronger than us killed us?" "You were always too soft," said Rue. "And you were always too evil," answered Kuya. "That is why I sealed you away. And I bet you got into no trouble with Mom and Dad for doing that," said Rue as the humans and demons' eyes widened. "They understood why I had to seal you away, brother," said Kuya. "They always liked you better," said Rue with a slight pout. "You two are related?" asked Naruto. "He is my twin brother," said Kuya as she looked at her brother. "You always have to ruin my fun," said Rue. "Sometimes I wonder how we can be brother and sister. We are natural opposites and that is why we have done battle since we were born," said Kuya. "Wait, this whole thing is some stupid siblings rivalry?" asked Shikamaru. "No, that is only part of the reason why we have fought for so long," started Kuya. "Didn't Rue tell you? There is no reason why they need to know about the actions of those who are above them," said Rue. They need to know the whole story in order to understand what is going to happen, said Kuya. What are you talking about? Asked Naruto. Who cares, said Sasuke, let's just kill Ru and get it over with. Shut up, ordered Sakura, what is the story? There are only a few things that are common to all the different races that populate the countless numbers of worlds, said Kuya, and the most common of these is war. Always war, it is inescapable that all forms of life have war, from lonely humans to the highest forms of life. War is never ending. There was a war between the black flames and the white flames, said Ru as he crossed his arms while glaring at his sister. And you're a white flame and he is a black flame, said Sakura. Thank you, Captain Obvious, said Ru as he rolled his eyes at Sakura. This is why humans need to die, they are just a waste of space. That doesn't really matter to us, said Kuya, we are among the last of our race anyhow. What? Asked Hatch High. After the dust of the battles had settled, there are maybe 50 or so members of our race left alive, that is why I couldn't kill you last time, said Kuya. And here I thought it was because of your deep love for your brother, said Ru. Not really, I had killed so many of our brothers and sisters during the war I couldn't kill another one, said Kuya. Wait, you have more siblings? Asked Naruto. No, it is a way to describe members of our race, but Ru is my true brother, said Kuya. Our entire race is descended from the offspring of two members of a race far older and more powerful than us. There are people stronger than you too? Asked Sakura. Yes, there are many figures above us in age and power. You humans are at the bottom of the totem pole behind the normal summons and then the demons. Said Kuya, even I don't know how the totem pole goes, but Ru and I are likely not even halfway up that ladder. We are low enough down to even know about the human race, said Ru. You are insects to us, but to those higher than us you are below dust. You would all be dust if my older sister decides to be smart and let me destroy you all. You know I can't let you do that, said Kuya, just like I couldn't let you destroy this world long ago. You are too weak. You could kill me at any time but can't do it, said Ru. All you can do is try to stop my moves, but you can't be everywhere at once. I thought you said he was a god, asked Sasuke. No, we have our limits and we can die, said Kuya, like you old age will kill us, only we measure our lives in trillions of years. In fact, if you translate our around 98 trillion year age into your scale, Ru and I are only 21 years old. What? Asked Shikamaru as he tried to think of an average age for them, but he couldn't. You are but kids, said Tsunade. Correct, said Kuya. If we are kids, you are insects that need to be squished, said Ru. But we have seen too much during our war, said Kuya as the warm glow left her eyes, replaced by only sadness. So much death, so much pain. I heard my uncles, my aunts and my cousins scream and roar in pain as they die. I saw my husband die, I failed to protect my only child, and I am considered lucky with parents who are alive. If you could call that a life. What do you mean? Asked Ru. Ru, Mom and Dad just sit there doing nothing. They do not speak, they do not move, and they don't speak. They are in too much shock from the war, said Kuya. When I told them about you being sealed away, they just blink. They are feeding off their own chakra to keep themselves alive. Given enough time they will die. Good, I hope they die, snapped Ru. There is just no getting through to you, brother, said Kuya as white chakra gathered around her arm. I am sorry it came to this. I'm not, growled Ru. Humans of the leaf and demons, I thank you, but this fight is now mine. Please leave this fight beyond you in every way. I do not wish to harm you, said Kuya as both Ru's and Kuya's eyes glowed a deeper shade of red and brighter white. You can't stop me, sister, not without killing me, and you couldn't do that to your brother, said Ru. You have to stop all my attacks only to get one past you. Try me, brother, said Kuya. I will, said Ru as he sent out a wave of chakra unlike anything any human had ever felt, followed quickly by Kuya. The two beams of chakra hit each other in between as they tried to force each other back. The ground shock, and not just under the leaf, the entire earth shock under the power of just one attack. Run, ordered Tsunade as everyone, every human and every demon ran for their lives. Let's get out of here, Sakura-chan, said Naruto as he made sure to get his wife out of there. As everyone ran, he did a quick look behind him at the battlefield. Ru and Kuya just stood there letting their chakra do battle, but something wasn't right. Somehow Naruto knew that something else was up. Above them the white flames had taken on the form of a phoenix while the black flames took on the form of a dragon. The two of them were doing battle in the ways Naruto could only dream about. Just go, Naruto, this is no longer your fight, said Kuya. I think it is time to shed these forms, said Ru as his skin turned black as his body reformed into its massive dragon form. Ru's black wings spread out as he took to the air. A beam of black chakra shot out of his mouth. Suddenly he stopped his attack as he flew higher and higher into the flame-filled sky. I will end this now. With that, Ru pulled back his head before breathing out a stream of black flames toward the leaf. However, this wasn't a small stream of fire, it was at least as large as the village itself. I don't think so, brother, said Kuya as she ran no hand signs. While in this form she needed to use the ineffective means of chakra control, but she had time. Her brother's attacks were always strong, but they were always slow, like a hammer coming down. It was slow but powerful. When she finished her hand signs, a dome of white flames covered the leaf, taking Ru's attack. My God, whispered Sakura as she, the humans and the demons just stood there stunned at the pure force of the chakra. Slowly the giant attack faded as the protective dome faded. It will be okay, Sakura-chan, said Naruto as he placed his arms around his wife. He had no idea if it was true, but Sakura needed to hear those words. My turn, said Kuya as she looked up at her brother with a grin that matched her brother. She bent her knees as flames erupted around her body, taking on the form of a phoenix. Kuya spread her wings as she took to the air in a wave of white flames spread out behind her. Ru roared as he dove down, hitting his sister as he bit into the flaming body of Kuya. Kuya roared in pain before she drove her flaming beak into Ru's body. It's almost beautiful, said Saito as he watched the two of them battle in the sky. Black flames danced around the sky. Every once in a while they would shoot down toward the leaf. Whenever that happened, Kuya's white flames dodged the attack. And dangerous, added Hatch High as suddenly a beam of chakra shot out of the ground, hitting Ru, who turned around and looked down at the ground. What was that? Pain, roared Ru as the Deva Path of Pain looked up at him. I will not stand by and watch this battle, stated Pain. Then you will die, said Ru as he sent a wave of chakra out. Only this time it wasn't flying toward the ground, it moved out horizontally until suddenly the black flame turned into a small red fireball. Pain's eyes widened as Ru grinned. Yes, thanks to Madara, I knew where you were hiding. Suddenly Pain fell to the ground as the red fireball crashed into the forest. Pain is down, said Sasuke as he looked at Naruto. The both of them locked eyes for just a moment, before each nodding their heads, and that is what made Sakura worry. Don't, said Sakura as he handed Sasuke a kunai. I have two, said Naruto as he kissed Sakura. I love you and I promise I am coming back. Stop kissing the pink-haired bitch and let's get going, said Sasuke as he threw the kunai as far and as fast as he could into the air. When this is done I am going to kill you, said Naruto. I already plan to kill you, said Sasuke as Naruto grabbed Sasuke's hand before both of them disappeared in a flash of yellow light. High above their heads Kuya and Ru did battle, their chakra slammed into each other as they bit and clawed at each other. They were too busy with their own battle, they never noticed a single kunai flying past them. When the kunai was above them it disappeared in a flash of light, being replaced by Naruto and Sasuke. This is insane, said Sasuke as the two of them started to fall. As they ran through hand signs. It should work. We just need to hit in the right spot, said Naruto as they kept falling though the red and black flames. Neither Kuya or Ru saw them coming. Chidori, yelled Sasuke as he landed on the back of Ru's neck, stabbing him in the base of the skull. It was just enough to break through his armor. Ru winced in pain, but apparently he brushed the attack as nothing more than a pinprick to him. However, that was all about to change as Sasuke jumped away from the small hole he handmade and made room for Naruto. Naruto placed his hand on the opening and started to make a Rasengan inside of Ru. Giant Rasengan, yelled Naruto as demon chakra-powered giant Rasengan formed inside Ru. The Rasengan grew until it exploded inside him. When it went up, it caused pain to shoot down the Ru's nearby spinal cord, causing every muscle to spasm wildly. Ru threw his head back, letting out a mighty roar, sending out black flames horizontally so far out that over 100 miles away Gaara and the sand ninjas could see the flames. Because Ru was thrashing wildly, Sasuke and Naruto were sent flying off the black dragon's back. Kuya saw the opening given to her by Naruto and Sasuke and she took it. She flew up over the wound and sent a bolt of contracted chakra right down on the wound. Ru roared in pain as his wings stopped moving. Kuya then body slammed her brother, sending crashing into the ground with so much force that another few buildings fell to the ground. Meanwhile, Naruto and Sasuke were falling toward the ground a mile away from the downed Ru. Let's hope this works, thought Naruto as he tightened his body in middle air before he threw another kunai at the ground. With it planted on the ground, he used his father's Thunder God technique one last time to disappear and reappear on the ground below. The only bad thing was that Justa transported him at the same speed he was going at. He heard and felt his legs' bones snap as he landed. He fell into the dirt, hurt but alive. A few seconds after he landed, a loud thud landed beside him. He turned his gaze to see a snake-formed Sasuke looking at him. "So you hoped your snake skin in sage form would protect you?" said Naruto as Sasuke blinked as he returned to his human form and tried to stand up, but all the bones on his side must have been broken since he fell to the ground with another thud. "Looks like this is the end of the line for you," said Naruto as he got to his feet and pulled out his last kunai. Somehow Sasuke had forced himself to his knees as blood poured out of his mouth. "You could never kill me, you coward. You bleeding heart means you want to drag me back to this place," said Sasuke with a grin. "We all know what will happen. You will imprison me in the leaf, and once my wounds heal I will break out and kill you and your—" Sasuke's eyes widened as he suddenly felt a kunai in his heart. It wasn't deep enough to kill him, but it was within millimeters of doing so. "Sasuke, you will forever be my friend, and I wish things had turned out differently, but this is where our battles end," said Naruto as he closed his eyes, remembering all the times he fought his oldest enemy and his oldest friend as he placed his free hand on the back of kunai. "However, times have changed and I can't risk my family's safety to keep you alive. This is where we part ways for good." Meanwhile, Kuya of the White Flame stood over her brother. Like Sasuke, he was wounded by the blast from Naruto, and Sasuke had temporarily fried his nervous system. He lost control of his body, so whenever he tried to move his wing, a leg would move instead. "When will you give up?" asked Ru. "You're the one who is down, brother, not me," said Kuya. "In a few hours I will be back to normal, and in the meantime you will try to find a way to seal me, but by the time you figure anything out it will be too late and I will be back," said Ru, "because you are too big of a coward to kill me." "You're right," said Kuya with a grin. "I can't kill you, however I don't have to." "What are you talking about?" asked Ru. "It will take you time to gather the chakra needed to seal me. The demon lords are too weak and these humans can't help you." "Foolish little brother, my seal opened the moment you were released, so why didn't I show up right away?" asked Kuya as Ru's eyes widened. "Yes, little brother, I was setting you up, and thanks to Naruto and Sasuke, two mere humans, you will never harm people again." "How?" asked Ru. "The same trap as last time," said Kuya as 6 figures appeared around the hole. They were almost ghost-like, their form nothing more than mere chakra. Slowly they took on a solid form. A wolf, a scorpion, a lion, a snake, a fox and a shark, all 6 of them looked no different than the wild human versions, only their eyes told the tale. They were far too intelligent in those eyes. "How could those demons be alive?" asked Ru as his eyes locked on the grinning fox. That stupid face was one of the last things he had seen before he had been sealed away. "Before I sealed myself away, I gave them some of my chakra, just enough to seal them away inside statues in their own demon kingdoms. They were to be saved until the time came and you threatened the world again. they were my ace in the hole as they humans say. Explained Kuya as a chakra prison began to form around Ru. I sealed them away in case something like this happened. Now they can form the prison once again, and once again you will be sealed away, brother. I fucking hate you, roared Ru as he began to be lifted up by the chakra of the original demon lords into the sky. And I still love you, brother, said Kuya with a smile and tears in her eyes as a crystal formed around her brother. The crystal settled with the remains of the moon. Finally she shot up a beam of her own chakra, hardening the crystal, reforming the prison that was broken by Madara. And I always will. While the battle with Ru seemed to be over, the end of another great battle was at the end of the line. Goodbye, Sasuke, said Naruto as he prepared to plunge the kunai the rest of the way into Sasuke's heart. Sasuke closed his eyes as he felt the kunai travel deeper into his chest. Suddenly it stopped. He opened his eyes just in time to see Naruto jump to the right. What is that idiot doing? Thought Sasuke until he noticed that right in front of him was a beat-up but charging Lee. Sasuke's eyes widened as Lee's fist traveled through his chest and came out the other side. Damn, I missed Naruto. Snapped Lee as he went to pull out Sasuke only to have Naruto slap a piece of paper on Lee's arm. To his amazement he couldn't move his arm anymore. It was stuck inside Sasuke. Looks like you will not be able to pull out your real plan, Sasuke, said a new voice as Sasuke took to his left to see another Naruto standing there. Face me, Naruto, in honorable combat, yelled Lee. Lee, I wish you hadn't gone in, but it looks like our battle ends here too, said Naruto. Our battle will never end as long as you live, snapped Lee as Naruto looked down. No, it ends with your death, said Naruto as he turned to walk away. Just remember, Lee, you brought this on yourself. We gave you more chances to come back than even Sasuke, but you didn't take it. You haven't killed me yet? Asked Lee. And I will not have to. You killed yourself, answered Naruto. What? Asked Lee. Sasuke never gives up, answered Naruto as Lee was confused. Sasuke never loses. What the fuck? Asked Lee. Take a look at Sasuke, explained Naruto as Lee looked at Sasuke only to see chakra dancing around Sasuke. Sasuke never accepts a loss, he would rather die than lose. In this case his plan was to kill me when I killed him. Now you took my place. What? Asked Lee, still confused at what was happening. I was going to blow myself up and take Naruto with me, explained Sasuke as Lee's eyes widened. And this just can't be stopped. Looks like you get to kill two enemies at once. I take no pleasure in this. Goodbye, said Naruto as he started to walk away. I don't think so, Naruto, said Sasuke as he called up every last bit of his chakra. I will take all three of us. I have to get moving, yelled Naruto to himself as he tried to run but found he couldn't, and he didn't have the chakra to pull off another jutsu. Lee was trying desperately to pull his arm out, but Naruto's paper seal stopped him from moving his arm away from Sasuke as more chakra danced around him. Come back and face me, yelled Lee. Goodbye, Lee, goodbye, Sasuke, whispered Naruto as he felt the ground shake as another explosion rocked the area. The blast sent him flying into the ground. For a moment Naruto just laid face first in the dirt until he felt a hand on his back. Naruto-kun, yelled Sakura, hoping with all her might that he was alright. I am still here, Sakura-chan, said Naruto as he tried to roll himself over to find his muscles strained under the effort. Don't move, you idiot, said Sakura as she placed her hands on her husband's legs, healing the wounds and resetting the bones. It's finally over. Now for the cleanup, said Naruto as he tried to stand up only to be helped up by his wife. He placed his arm around his wife's shoulder as he used her as a crutch to help him to his feet as the last of the black flames disappeared from the sky. The sun finally pierced through the flaming sky as the light finally reached the surface of the earth. However, the great planet was forever scared from the battle that had raged between demons and a race far older and more powerful than them. Kuya of the White Flame stood in her human form looking up at the moon which still hung in the sky. Normally she would push the moon forward back into its normal position, but she didn't have the chakra. She had used too much in the battle and finally sealed her brother away once again. For the moment Ru could look down at the village he had tried to destroy. With the end of the battle, the villagers finally came out of the many bunkers under the Hokage mountain. What they saw stunned them beyond words. The whole western half of the village and the western woods was gone. Nothing but a huge crater remained. The other half the village was damaged and the streets filled with broken glass and rubble from falling buildings. It was far worse than any attack in the history of the Leaf. Even parts of the Hokage faces had fallen off. "The demon did this," yelled Choza as he started to get the crowd fired up. "Let's get him," yelled another as the villagers started down toward the wasteland. "Kiba-kun, wake up," yelled Hinata as she shook at her husband's body with tears in her eyes. He hadn't awoken since Ru had sent him flying up into the flaming sky. His clothes were burnt and parts of his hair had been burnt off by the black flames. However, it was his back that was the worst. He had at least third-degree burns across his entire back. "Kiba-kun?" "Hinata?" asked Kiba weakly. "Kiba?" asked Hinata as he opened his eyes. "Did we win?" asked Kiba. "Yeah, we won," said Hinata. "Good," said Kiba as he closed his eyes only to get slapped by Hinata, causing him to open his eyes again. "What? Don't close your eyes like that right now, don't scare me like that," pleaded Hinata. "Alright," said Kiba. "Lady Hinata," said a medical lion as she arrived beside the lion summoner. "Are you alright?" "I am fine, treat my husband," ordered Hinata as the medic started working on the injured. Meanwhile at the hospital, Niji finally opened his eyes again. "Niji," yelled Tenten as she jumped up from her chair. "What happened?" asked Niji as he tried to sit up only to find his entire right side weak. "That Gurren lady put a crystal through your chest," said Tenten in tears as she tried not to remember what happened to her husband. "So that is why my chest hurts," said Niji as he raised his hand and placed it on his tightly wrapped chest. "Yeah, you were in emergency surgery to save your life," said Tenten. "So I pulled a Naruto," said Niji as he remembered all those times Naruto was in the hospital before he went off to do battle with Sasuke. "Not really," said Tenten sadly. "What is it?" asked Niji. "The crystal missed the side of your heart before destroying your lung and hitting your spine. The doctors gave me a choice," said Tenten. Flashback. "I need help here," yelled Tenten as she stormed into the hospital with a bleeding Niji in her arms. Almost instantly one of the nurses was at her side. She didn't need to wait for a doctor to know that he needed surgery right now. "Follow me," ordered the nurse as she led them up the flight of stairs to the operating room. As they approached the room, Ino and Choji were being rolled out of surgery. "Doctor, we have another one." "Alright," said the doctor as he handed the healing Ino and Choji off to another nurse. He quickly began a medical scan just to find out how bad the damage was. "This isn't good." "What is it, doctor?" asked Tenten. "He is my husband." "Alright." Basically the crystal punched through his rib cage and went right through a lung, said the doctor as Tenten's eyes widened. "We were lucky it missed his heart, however the crystal came in at an angle and it hit his spinal cord. That means we have two choices. One, we save the lung and he has less than 50% chance of living and walking again, or we remove the lung and focus on healing the spine and restore all his movement and his odds of life goes up to the high 80s. "Save him," ordered Tenten. "If we remove his lung by Leaf Ninja code, he will never be able to serve as a frontline ninja ever again," said the doctor. "If we don't remove the lung, there is a slim chance that he will be totally normal, but his chances of death or paralysis goes up. Remove the lung, I want Niji-kun alive no matter what," said Tenten. "Alright," said the doctor. End flashback. "I am sorry Niji-kun," said Tenten. "I know how to work so hard to be an ANBU captain and now you are out of the ninja corps." "It's alright," said Niji. "Besides, I am not out of the ninja corps. I just can't be a frontline ninja. I can always teach or something like that. Also it will finally give us time to start a family." "What?" asked Tenten as she looked at her husband. "Tenten, I know you want a kid, but I was so focused on being an ANBU captain and running the clan that I injured you, said Niji, and Tenten broke into tears. Maybe this was just the spirit's way of telling me what is really important, and that is you. Meanwhile, out on the battlefield, Naruto and Sakura finally reached Kyubi. He lied where he had fallen against the Ru. Father? Asked Saito. Son, said Kyubi weakly, did we win? Yes, Father. Kuya of the White Flame sealed him away, answered Saito as the Kyubi opened his eyes to look at the legendary phoenix in her human form. However, the eyes seemed distant and clouded over in the coming death. Lord Kyubi, said Kuya, you are a testament to your bloodline, you saved the people of the Leaf Village. Wait, you're the Phoenix of White Flame, said Saito, you can heal my father. I am sorry, young lord, said Kuya as the foxes looked at her, it is beyond my power. What you are? The White Flame of Life, yelled Saito. Saito, calm down, said Hatch High as several wolves worked on healing their lord. It is quite alright, Lord Hatch High, said Kuya. Young Saito, normally it would be well within my power to heal the wounds, and if he only took venom from the demon snakes it could happen. He took an attack from Ru, said Saito sadly. Yes, and I can't heal those wounds so easily, said Kuya. I am sorry, I used too much chakra sealing and fighting my brother. I can't save your father. No, said Saito as he shook his head. It's alright, Saito, I can go on knowing we have won and that you are safe, said Kyubi. What about the demon war? Asked a voice from the crowd. The war is over, stated Kuya. Too many souls have been claimed by this war, I will not allow it to go on anymore. Then I can rest knowing everything is done, said Kyubi as he started to close his eyes again. Saito, Naruto, can you come closer? Of course, said Saito as he went before his dad. Naruto left Sakura's side and walked as fast as he could toward the dying Kyubi. I will not be around much longer, but before I go I must say something to you too, said Kyubi as he looked at Naruto. Naruto, I have known you all your life and I am proud to have been your teacher. The honor was mine, Kyubi, said Naruto with tears in his own eyes. No, it was mine, said Kyubi as he turned his gaze toward his son. Son, you are hot-headed and proud, just like I was at your age. My only regret is that I am not able to stay and watch you grow and to play with my grand pups when they come. Father, said Saito as he tried to say sorry for all the times he cursed at his father or questioned his father's judgment. However, Hatch High stopped him. Don't worry, Kyubi, I will look after the next generation, said Hatch High as the head of the wolves lowered his head just like all the other wolves. Thank you, old friend, said Kyubi as he looked toward Kuya. Lady Kuya, can I ask a favor from you? Of course, Lord Kyubi, said Kuya as she moved forward so the Kyubi could whisper to her. Kuya nodded her head before slightly smiling. Of course, I will. Thank you, said Kyubi as he began to build up the last of his chakra at the tip of his nose. Father, said Saito as he cried. Stop, if you use all your chakra you will die. I know, said Kyubi, this must be done to repay my last debt. What debt? Asked Naruto as the Kyubi smiled with a fox-like grin. You will see, said Kyubi as his eyes became even more glazed over. Goodbye. With that, Kyubi's heart stopped along with his breathing. Instantly the wolves began to howl as the fox let out their own cry-like howl at the death of their lord. Rest in peace, Lord Kyubi, said Kuya. Unlike the others, she could actually see the soul of the Kyubi being led by the death god himself to the opening gates to the spirit world. For a moment the Kyubi turned and looked back at the scene as the door opened enough to show a large black female fox and a smaller red kit. The Kyubi walked through the gate rubbing against the larger female's face in a sign of love. Slowly the gate closed again, cutting the spirit world from the living world. You are finally with your mate and your daughter. While the demons mourned, a large mob of villagers led by Choza reached the gathering. You caused this, demon, yelled Choza as he pointed at Naruto, however his eyes widened as he saw the remains of the Kyubi laying there on the ground. Suddenly a large smile grew on his face. The Kyubi is dead, yelled villagers in pure joy as the demons showed their death. Stop, ordered Kuya as her eyes glowed a burning white. Stop, you foolish ignorant humans. Who are you? Asked Choza as he stood up to Kuya, having no idea who he was dealing with. I am Kuya of the White Flame, roared Kuya as a large flaming white phoenix appeared behind her, causing all the humans to back up in fear. You should be thanking the Kyubi for saving your collective asses. What? Asked Choza. Take a look up, said Kuya as the villagers looked up to see Ru in his crystal prison. That is my brother Ru, and he would have killed you all. In fact, he tried. Kyubi threw himself in front of the attack to save you all. He sacrificed his life to save yours. What? Asked the villagers. It's true, reported Tsunade as the other leaf ninjas nodded their heads. That demon saved you all, said Kakashi. An attack was flying toward the Hokage mountain and he threw himself before it. It is only because you are ignorant of what happened and want someone to blame for the destruction of your village that I will let this pass, stated Kuya. However, know this. Those who were behind this attack on your village are already dead and the demon war is over. Now why don't we head back into the buildings, said Tsunade, we have a lot of work to do before the sun goes down tonight. Slowly the villagers started to fall back to the part of the village that was still standing. Saito, you know what you have too, said Hatch High. Yes, said Saito as members of the Demon Fox Royal Guards formed alongside the Kyubi, picking him up with their chakra. It's time to bring our lord home for the ceremonial cremation. I will come too, said Naruto. No, said Kuya as Naruto looked at her, there is something else that you need to do first. What? Asked Naruto. This is something that is best explained in private, said Kuya as she waved her hand as Naruto and Sakura disappeared in a flash of light. They reappeared in their own living room. Luckily the Namikaze clan estate was on the other side of the mountain. Apart from some photos falling off the mantelpiece, it had come through untouched. Why are we here? Asked Naruto as Kuya grinned as she waved her hand as Rin, Haruno and Eri and Riki appeared on the couch. Eri, Riki, cried Sakura as she picked up both of her children. Sakura, what is going on? Asked Rin, confused as to how she had been transported suddenly back to the village. Long story, we will tell you later, said Sakura as she handed Eri off to Naruto. The few weeks old kids looked around confused at what was happening. Allow me to explain a little, said Kuya. I am Kuya of the White Flame and I am here to carry out the last wish of the Kyubi. What is that? Asked Naruto as Kuya smiled as Red Demon Fox chakra gathered around Kuya's arm. He gave me the last of his chakra to do this, said Kuya as suddenly another ghostly figure appeared beside her. Todd? Asked Naruto as he looked at the gatekeeper of life and death. Instantly the kid started to cry in the presence of death. It has been a long time, Naruto, said Todd before he looked at Kuya. Has the Kyubi filled you in? Asked Kuya. Yes, and my lord the god of death has agreed to the trade, said Toad as he took the Kyubi's chakra. I will return in an hour. Naruto's eyes widened as he realized what was happening as three figures started to appear out of mist. Slowly the figure of a woman and two men appeared out of the mist. The first man was someone Naruto had seen before when they fought in the woods. His wild blonde hair and deep blue eyes matched Naruto almost perfectly. The woman had deep red hair and deep green hair. The other man was maybe a hair taller than the first and had his blood red hair cut short. He had on a Chunin vest and ninja pants on. What the hell is going on? Asked the red-haired man as he rubbed his green eyes. That will take some time to explain to Kane, said Minato as he smiled at his older son. However, basically we have been brought back to life. What? Asked Kane as he looked around to see an older version of his wife and his daughter standing before him. Rin? Sakura? Kane? Asked Rin with tears in her eyes. Daddy? Asked Sakura as Kane Haruno nodded his head. How long? Asked Kushina. 24 years, said Naruto as Kushina looked at her son. Hello mom. The last wish of the Kyubi was to repay a debt to you too, said Kuya. He accidentally took your parents, now for an hour at least you have them back. Use it well. The last wish of the Kyuubi was to give you some time with your parents, said Kuya as she looked at Sakura and Naruto. He felt responsible for taking your parents away from both of you. This is his last gift to you. I am sorry it is only for an hour. An hour? Asked Kane. Yes, the death god wants to have Minato's soul, said Kuya. Also it would be weird if we stayed, said Minato as he looked at his 24-years-old son. I mean, we are pretty much the same age as our kids. I guess, and my wife has started Kane, only to get the death glare from Rin. Never mind. I will make sure you are not disturbed, said Kuya as she started to walk toward the door, only to fade away into nothingness. Finally she is gone, said Kushina as she bolted forward and hugged her son. Naruto winced a bit as his mother hugged against his still healing wounds. However, his heart soured as his mother buried her head into his chest, almost afraid to let go. Minato walked up toward his son. I see you're a little taller than me, said Minato with a smile as he joined his wife in hugging their son. Hello my little princess, said Kane to his full-grown daughter. Hello Dad, said Sakura with tears in her eyes. Her mother had always told her about how he would call her his little cherry blossom princess. You are a lot bigger than I remember, said Kane. You look so much like your mother. Thanks Dad, said Sakura. Sakura Haruno, said Kane with a smile. It's still hard for me to believe that little baby I saw only minutes ago is really this full-grown woman in front of me. In a way it isn't, said Sakura as Kane raised an eyebrow. You're married, aren't you? Asked Kane. Yeah, Sakura Namikaze, said Sakura as Kane smiled. Figures that you would end up with the son of my best friend, said Kane as suddenly a small cry filled the air. Instantly Kane looked down to see his daughter holding a small baby with bright blonde hair and deep blue eyes. Kushina heard the sound and instantly pulled away from Naruto. Is that? Asked Kushina as she and Minato looked at the smiling baby girl. Yeah, this is your granddaughter, said Sakura, Eri Kushina Namikaze. Wow, said Kushina as she moved her face just a little closer to the baby. However, another small cry filled the air. Instantly she turned her head to see Naruto picking up another baby from his spot on the couch. The baby had deep red hair and bright green eyes. And let's not forget her twin brother, said Naruto as he held his son Riki Minato Namikaze. Looks like your family tradition of having twins, said Kane with a slight laugh, only to get slightly slapped on the shoulder by Rin before she hugged her husband. I missed you Kane, said Rin with tears in her eyes. And I missed you, said Kane as he pulled his wife close. Rin fought back tears as she smelled his shirt. It still smelled like his scent. I am just sorry I wasn't there to help you raise our daughter. It's alright Kane, said Rin. Can I hold her? Asked Kushina to Sakura. Sakura nodded her head as she handed over Eri to her grandmother. You want to hold your grandson? Asked Naruto to his father. Minato took Riki into his arms. Once the kids were safe in the hands of their grandparents, Naruto and Sakura sat down on the couch just looking at the scene before them. They are beautiful, said Kushina as Kane and Rin walked over and looked at the kids. I see at least my red hair came though, said Kane as he placed his hands on top of Riki's head, looking at the little bit of red hair that graced his head. No, that is my red hair, said Kushina. However, there is no argument to where the blonde hair comes from. Yeah, said Naruto as he winced a bit. Seeing her own son in pain, Kushina turned toward him. Is something wrong, Naruto? Asked Kushina. Nothing, just got out of a battle, answered Naruto. What battle? Asked Kane. You haven't noticed the door, have you? Asked Sakura as they turned to see the front door had been broken down and put back up. The village was attacked last night and a lot of people died. You're not dead, right? Asked Minato. No, but almost everyone in the entire world died. Luckily we won, said Sakura. Who could destroy the world? Asked Minato. A member of an ancient race named Ru. You meant his sister Keu a few minutes ago. Luckily she helped seal him away after the demon seal weakened, said Naruto. Demon seals? Asked Kane. Kyubi was only one of 6 demon lords, and over a year ago a war broke out that ended tonight. Said Naruto. However, it wasn't without cost. Kyubi died, along with our friend Lee, our old teammate turned enemy Sasuke Uchiha, and who knows how many others lost their lives tonight. I am not going to cry over the death of the Kyubi, said Kane. He is a demon that caused my death. It isn't that simple, Dad, said Sakura. Kyubi was controlled by Madara Uchiha into attacking the leaf. I died to seal him inside Naruto, said Minato as Kane looked at his friend. In fact, Naruto is the summoner of the demon foxes. I see you remember that from our little fight, said Naruto as his father nodded. Well, things changed a bit. Like what? Asked Kane. Like the fact that I am a demon summoner, said Sakura as her eyes flashed red for a bit before returning to their normal green, only silted like a fox. They turned back to their normal form. In fact, the odds are good that those little kids you are holding have demon chakra within them. I see, said Kane as he looked down at Ricky. I don't know how I feel about that, but looking at these kids, who am I to argue with it? For a moment they all just stood there in silence before Ricky started to cry. Sounds like someone wants his mother, said Minato as he handed Ricky to Sakura. Instantly he stopped crying as he rested his head on his mother's shoulder. Yeah, he is always like that, said Naruto. Eri is the one who is highly social. In fact, if it wasn't for her brother crying, she would probably sleep through the night. I hate to turn this conversation away from this little ones, but I want to know, Sakura, are you having a good life? Asked Kane. Yeah, said Sakura as she rested her own head on Naruto's shoulder. True, I made some huge mistakes in my treatment of Naruto when I was 12 and had a huge crush on Sasuke, but that is in the past. You're a medical ninja, right? Asked Minato. Yeah, I was, but when I became a demon summoner some members of the village decided that they didn't want me treating them, said Sakura. Maybe that will all change after this battle, said Rin. Whatever it is, Mom, said Sakura. I love working in the hospital and training under Lady Tsunade, but if Ino runs it I am fine with it. It just isn't right that you can't run the hospital when you're the best medical ninja in the world, said Rin. I wouldn't say that, said Sakura. The Hokage told me herself, said Rin. Wait, Tsunade is the Hokage? Asked Kane. Yes, said Naruto. Well, that pervert Jiraiya must be having a field day with that, said Kane. He was until he died a few months ago, said Naruto as Minato lowered his head at the passing of his sensei. What about you? Are you going to follow in your father's footsteps as Hokage? Asked Kane. That has always been one of my dreams, said Naruto. However, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. What? Asked Sakura as she looked at her husband. That is your dream, Naruto-kun. It was my dream and still is my dream job, but the most important thing is you and the kids, Sakura-chan. Nothing comes before you all, said Naruto. Speaking of kids, are these two going to be the last of the next generation of Namikes? Asked Kushina. They were just born in May, Kushina, said Rin. And you wanted to have 2 kids, Rin. I am just asking if they plan to stop at 2 or not, asked Kushina as they looked at Naruto and Sakura. Well, said Naruto as he put his hand behind his head just like Minato does. He knew what he wanted, but with the war and everything they hadn't really talked about it. We will probably have at least 1 more kid, maybe 2, but no more than that, said Sakura, but until these 2 are around 2 years old at least. I don't blame you, I wouldn't want to have 3 kids under 2 at the same time, said Kushina. I am more worried about how they will control 2 kids around the same age, said Rin, mostly if they act like Naruto did when he was a kid. What was he like? Asked Kane. He did the same things I did when I was a kid back in the Whirlpool Village, answered Kushina using the memories she had seen from Sakura all those years ago. So he was a troublemaker, said Kane. More of a cry for attention, said Kushina. He just wanted to be seen, just like I wanted to be. What? Asked Naruto. I was the middle child of 7 kids, so my parents didn't really have time for me, answered Kushina as she looked down as she remembered the fire that had consumed her house and her family all those years ago in Whirlpool Country. I pulled pranks to get my parents' attention. it actually saved my life because I was painting over my latest prank when the Whirlpool village was attacked. My clan house was bombed to take out the leadership of the village in the opening moments. Sorry mom, said Naruto as Minato put an arm around his wife. Suddenly Eri started crying. Sounds like someone needs a change, said Rin with a small laugh as Sakura stood up to take Eri away for a change of dippers. Only to have Kushina and Rin stand up with her. Only one of us needs to go and change her, said Sakura. Consider it some girl time, explained Kushina. Naruto, I want to see what happened to the village, said Minato. Always the Hokage with you, said Kushina. Alright, said Naruto. You two go on ahead, I am going to go check on something, said Kane with a grin as he headed toward the door leading into the basement. There is whiskey under the bar, said Naruto, sensing what his father-in-law was after. Let's go, to the Hokage mountain, said Naruto as he and Minato disappeared in a flash of yellow light. They reappeared less than a second later on top of the Hokage mountain. Below them were the remains of the Leaf Village. Broken glass glinted in the still rising sun, rubble was still being cleared. A massive tent city was being set up in a nearby park, however the stunning thing was the massive blast crater. Spreading out almost as far as the eye could see was nothing but burnt sacred land. Trees were nothing more than black burnet skeletons on the ground. Parts of the battlefield looked as if they had been turned to glass and some parts had small pools of dirty water on them. Think of a nuclear blast crater. All over the battlefield were bodies of snakes, foxes, lions, scorpions, wolves, sharks and humans. Different teams were going around clearing the bodies. Welcome home, Dad. Sorry you had to see your village this way, said Naruto as he lowered his head. So much pain, said Minato as he looked down. So much death. Yes, too many people died tonight, said Naruto, all for nothing. No, no one ever dies for nothing, said Minato as Naruto looked into his father's eyes. Every death has a meaning. It is up to the living to find that meaning and learn from it. Thanks, Dad, said Naruto. Thank your grandfather, he told me those same words before he died of cancer, said Minato as he looked down. You lost your mom and your dad within a year of each other, said Naruto. Yeah, said Minato, mom from a medical accident when she was mixing chemicals and dad from cancer, but couples tend to do that. What? Asked Naruto. It's just something your mother told me after my parents died, said Minato. Couples who have spent decades together in pure love can't stand to be apart for long, they tend to die to join their love. I think we should be getting back, said Naruto. Agreed, said Minato as he and Naruto disappeared in flashes of yellow light. While Naruto and Minato talked, Sakura, Kushina and Rin were in Eri's nursery changing her, while Rin was changing her. Sakura was too tired and Kushina had no real idea how to change a dipper. They are she, said Kushina as she sat down beside the other Mrs. Namikaze who was holding Ricky in Sakura's arms. So is her brother. I know, said Sakura as she ran her hands through her dirty pink hair. I am just sorry that the first real time I get to have my parents-in-law over and the house is a mess. It doesn't matter, my son loves you and that is all that matters to Minato and me, said Kushina as she looked into Sakura's eyes. You are strong-willed and loving at the same time, you are perfect for my boy. Sakura had to fight back tears at those words. She knew how Naruto felt about her and how her mom felt about her being with Naruto, however there was always the idea that Naruto's parents wouldn't approve of her. Looks like you brought my daughter to tears, said Rin as she handed the clean air to Kushina before grabbing a camera that Naruto had left out at some time, probably for taking photos of his kids. If there was one thing that drove Sakura up the wall was the fact Naruto was always taking photos of the kids. Maybe it had to do with the fact he had no real baby photos of himself. However, this time Sakura didn't care as her mother took a photo of the four of them together before doing individual shots of Eri and Ricky with their grandmother. Now let's get back into the living room, said Rin as they headed back into the living room just in time to see Naruto and Minato return to the living room. How was your little trip? Asked Kushina. I would say it was good, but the damage to the village is huge, said Minato. Well, this may lift your mood, said Kane as he came up the stairs from the basement carrying a large bottle of wine. I hid this years ago, to celebrate when Kushina had her kid and you became a father, Minato. Well, it would be a shame to let it go to waste. It would be a shame, said Sakura with a grin of her own.